Here's the drink of today.
What is it?
It's a Moosehead Radler. Oh wait, I showed you the backside. I meant to show you the front side.
Sounds good.
Strawberry lemonade.
Ooh,
It is good. It's very light and refreshing. It's only 4% alcohol.
that's disappointing though.
Not everything can be super strong.
Tequila can,
2:30 in the afternoon. I am not drinking tequila.
but it's Friday, so it's okay. Anyway, we are live.
We've been live.
That's true. We've been live for about like 35 seconds, so we're talking about alcohol.
Nope.
So hi
Good start.
everyone, how's it going? Yeah, we're
What are
back
you
again.
drinking today?
Probably not enough.
Yeah, you might want to grab some where you're in for the long haul.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our 10th episode. I can't believe we made it 10.
Yeah, I really thought we would have quit by now.
Yeah,
Or I
you
should
just
say,
had,
I really thought I would have quit by now.
I don't know if you did you watch that video clip I sent you of like the new Bills. Speaking of this,
I did not see that.
it's basically like so the girl from Cynthia Freeland's joined the Bills for like she's been like the sideline analytics reporter for the preseason
Mhm.
from NFL Network. And Steve Tasker just goes like, she's gonna go within like 5 minutes of our first broadcast, like calling her agent saying, "Get me the hell out of Buffalo."
That bad, huh?
I guess, or that kind of either way. So anyway, so we've had like I think it's been 2 weeks or a week and a half, something like that, since our last show.
Something like that.
I mean, a lot's happened. Good, bad, indifferent, like crazy.
Indifferent. That's a good way to look at it. It's not all been good. It's not all been bad. Some of it's happened.
Yeah, like half the Olympics happened.
Hey, don't be mean to the Olympics.
I'm not
There's
going
some
to
good stuff going on.
There was some great stuff I saw.
Did you watch sport climbing at all?
The speed climbing thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
The, like
crazy.
Ninja Warrior parkour meets the Olympics.
Yeah, I was describing to my friend. It was like, what the hell was it?
That.
I was like, it's like American Gladiators on steroids. Which is, yeah, it's like they get done like in 8 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think that was one of the cool parts about the Olympics this year is seeing the evolution of the sports and the evolution of the events. So they added, I forget the number off the top of my head, but surfing was new, skateboarding was new, sport climbing was new. They added new disciplines within already existing events. For example, the women's, I don't think it was the women's 800 in swimming, but one of the women's races in swimming was new. They added 3x3 basketball. Basketball was already in there, but they added 3x3, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was a lot of fun.
My favorite modification was the mixed medley swimming race with those men and women. That's a great. I expect more. Aren't they? I think they're trying to do it for like track soon too.
Yeah, I think they probably already have the list of things that they're adding for the next Olympics.
In Paris.
And I know I'm pretty sure baseball and softball are out again. Or maybe baseball's still in, but softball's out, or there's questions around it. I don't know. I've heard mixed things, but
we'll see. We have
basically for LA at this point, I think that's where they're looking at maybe doing that mixed medley in track and field. Baseball and softball are definitely going to be back in for LA. There's no question about that. It just seems that right now, it's the idea of if a city, a host country doesn't already have a stadium, to not make them have to build it because they're trying to get out of this sort of mantra where every city that hosts the Olympics ends up worse off than they were before. So it's kind of a catch-22 because there's prestige to hosting the Olympics. You want to host the Olympics, but you lose money hosting the Olympics if you're not the United States.
Yeah, because you have to build infrastructure galore. Like Brisbane's going to be interesting in 2032, I think it is.
Yeah.
Where they're just like a tiny sprawled out city and there's mountains galore.
But see, I think they'll be able to make it work because
I mean they got to have 11 years.
True, but it's not just that. I mean, how close is Brisbane from Sydney? Sydney
like
already
7
hosted
hours.
The Olympics. So
they're not close at all.
Not close in terms of using the resources, but close in like they can learn from what their fellow city did and what worked and what didn't work. And be able to, I mean, because Sydney, obviously they lost money. Everybody loses money except the United States. But those Olympics I thought were pretty successful in the large run. So there's a reason why Australia is getting them again, not that far removed. Like it sounds like a long time, 20 plus years, 32 years. But for the Olympics,
it's 8 Olympics.
For you to host 2 out of, 9 Olympics, That's not
pretty
a
damn
long
good.
time at all.
Again, if you're not the
Yeah.
United States.
So like China's getting the Winter Olympics. Not
Yeah,
is it this year or 2022 or are they the next one?
I think it's 2022 that's in Beijing.
That's what I thought too.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, we saw some really, like I said, we saw some really crazy things. Do you see that platform diving? That little girl from China that won it?
Yes, what was she, 14, 15?
14.
With
Yeah, she like just turned
I forget how many perfect
three,
tens.
like I think it was like 21. I think
Yeah,
perfect
like
tens.
21 out of 27 scores or something like that.
She was
Absolutely
creating no splash.
insane. Yeah, you're talking about a dive that
33 feet high.
completely reinvented what diving is. And the commentator, she was one of my favorite Olympic commentators this year. I always enjoy listening to the commentators because they bring you into the sport, especially if you don't really know the sport. And a lot of these Olympic events are things we only see every 4 years. Occasionally they'll televise world championships, occasionally you'll be able to watch US nationals, but you mostly see this stuff only every 4 years. So that you rely on the commentators to kind of explain to you the rules, to remind you, I don't remember the rules of diving from 4 years ago. I don't remember the
No
rules
cannonballs.
of gymnastics and how they, you get points and all that. So you rely on the commentators, but she was cracking me up because she'd be like, oh, she's like, that's a slight deduction. Like every single time, be like, that's a slight deduction. And I'm watching it here. It's like, what did you see? Like, that looked pretty vertical to me. And, oh, that's a slight deduction.
They're literally looking from they're supposed to be like this and they're like that.
Yeah, yep, the little tiny toes pointing that way, or, oh, like that was a big splash. Like, if I made that kind of dive, you'd see the whole pool splash. Like, that was not a big splash. But when that Chinese diver dove, there was nothing to be said. There was literally nothing wrong with it. And she knew that. She was going over the scores.
She's trying to find
saying,
something.
Yeah, exactly. But she's going to get tens again. And the commentator knew that. And it was just remarkable. I mean, one of the best parts about the Olympics is seeing things like that, seeing athletic achievement at its highest form. And for this person to be 15 and doing that, the next Olympics she'll be 18 because it's only 3 years from now.
She may not be on the team.
Maybe she'll be too old. Who knows? With Chinese divers, it's just a constant cycle of.
Well, that's what they talked about. Like the girls that won 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Didn't even make. They didn't
make the team
because they weren't good enough.
I don't know. I have to imagine you're the first diver ever to post the kind of scores, and she shattered the previous record.
Oh God, and she's like, I mean, okay, I don't mean this in a weird way at all.
She's on Chinese Wheaties boxes right now.
She's a very young 14 because the only way she qualified for the Olympics is because they moved.
Because it got moved a year. Yep. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been eligible. So just things like that are really spectacular, and watching athletes. We saw a lot of athletes this year who it was their last Olympics. There was a gymnast from, I want to say she was from Ukraine or no, Uzbekistan. Yep, in her eighth Olympics, which is
46 years old.
Astonishing in any sport, but gymnastics in particular, to go to 8 Olympics.
It's her third country she's represented too.
Right.
She's represented the Soviet Union, Germany, I think in Uzbekistan. I think there may have been a fourth, but I could be wrong on that. But I know that it's at least those three.
Her career is extraordinarily remarkable. And
I hope she gets put in the Olympic Hall of Fame just for longevity.
She should, because name another person who has been to 8 Olympics. I don't think there has been any.
I think Teemu Selanne may have made 8. The hockey player.
It was maybe in the Winter Olympics, but I don't think in the Summer Olympics anybody has done 8.
No.
Not even close.
No reason to.
Right.
More than anything, there's no reason for an athlete to play to do any sport at 46 years old, let alone at Olympic level.
But hey, that's what you want to do. That's your life. That's your dream. That's your passion. And, good for her for being able to sustain that for as long as she did.
I mean, well, let's rephrase this in the sense we don't count coaches.
Yes. You don't count coaches.
I mean,
but even still, is there really that many?
I think Popovich, I think that's his first gold medal.
No, didn't he win last time?
Maybe an assistant coach.
Oh, that's right, because Coach K was still the head coach.
Yeah, it's like Coach K's been an assistant coach on and off for like
Right.
ever.
Well, and there was a kind of common thought going around the NBA that the only reason why Popovich hasn't retired yet was because he wanted to coach the Olympics. So,
I could see that.
will this year be his last year? Most likely, unless he's found, maybe he wants to come back for another Olympics. Who knows?
Or maybe once he's found his next non-American like star, which is entirely likely because it's Popovich.
Okay, here we go. List of athletes with the most appearances at Olympic Games. Let's see where we're at.
Besides like that lady, it's got to be like Team Slime's got to be up there.
Okay,
What?
there's a Canadian, Ian Millar, who at London 2012 participated in his 10th Olympics.
How was he?
He's an equestrian.
Well,
which
okay.
Makes sense because they're people who can have that longevity.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't want to say there's not wear and tear on the body,
see.
but it's not the wear and tear of like a gymnast or a basketball player or like
He's done 10. Australian sailor, or Austrian, my apologies, sailor Hubert Radowski and Latvian shooter Athanasis Kuzmins have been in 9 Olympics.
Man, those are name drops if I've ever heard them.
Yeah, they were probably horribly impronounced, so I apologize if either of those individuals are listening to our podcast.
Let's see. Latvia's not coming on our show. Austria's not coming on our show now.
We're just keep checking boxes off of people that we're losing viewership for.
It's okay. We got like 200 countries to go. We're good.
Yeah, and half of the 6-time Olympians or more belong to shooting, equestrian, sailing, or fencing, which are known for allowing athletes more longevity.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's like, and I said, I'm not knocking their sports at all, but it's like, it's not the rigor of like a basketball career or a gymnastics career or anything of that sort.
Yeah, of the top, okay, so Oksana Chusovitina, who is our Uzbekistanian, German, and unified Team Russia representative, she did 8 Olympics. She has done the most of any gymnast.
I would hope so.
Scroll down.
Most of them do like 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky.
Still scrolling. Okay, so you have to go down then to Jordan Jovcic of Bulgaria, who did... Why is it not telling me? 6 Olympics.
For what sport?
Gymnastics. That's your next highest gymnast. So Oksana has 2 over Jordan.
Well, good for them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But it's incredible.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense in a way that you're seeing it in some of these Slavic and European countries where how much competition are these individuals really having to make the team?
In modern days, I'd say a lot since the Soviet Union broke up.
Right. It's a lot easier. There's not that many, like if you're in Uzbekistan, I highly doubt there's that many gymnasts competing for. No, granted, she still had to earn the spot for Uzbekistan, but as far as competition, from her own country people, it would have been like, hey, you are automatically our Uzbekistanian representative. You're going to the European Championships or the World Championships. Go qualify, go earn your spot.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, see what else I see. Excuse me. I saw my Bills are interested in an Olympic gold medalist. I don't know if you saw this.
I did not.
They're interested in Gable Stevenson. The
Bills are interested in him. That's so funny because every wrestling company is trying to sign him right now.
Yeah, it's like the Bills and the Ravens are trying to make him an NFL contract right now, but the Bills are like highly interested because because Sean McDermott's like a national champion wrestler.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's put it this way: people think this is unprecedented. It's not.
Oh no, it's not. But I highly doubt he chooses football.
You never know.
I think he's going to get a decent amount of money to either work in AEW or WWE.
Or even New Japan.
But
my point though is he's also only 21.
True.
So who the hell
True, he
knows?
certainly has time in his life to do both if he really wanted to.
He could like, I'm coming back for another year. I'm for college for Minnesota too.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the reason why I think he would be more likely to go pro wrestling than he would be to go
Well, here's a crazy little factoid.
NFL.
Here's a crazy little amateur wrestling / NFL factoid for you. Since we know probably the most well-known former national champion wrestler that became a pro wrestler that tried out for
Yes.
the NFL. But here's a little factoid about that's connected to him. The guy he beat, the person we're talking about, by the way, is the former WWE and UFC champion Brock Lesnar. In case you didn't put 3 and 3 together there.
3 and 3 equals 4.
Well, there was a lot of things I threw out there. That's why.
That's true.
3 and 3. So anyway, the guy he beat for the national championship, his name was Stephen O'Neill. He's from the Cal State, like I think Bakerfield or something like that. It was a smaller school.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy named Stephen O'Neill. You know what he did after he retired from amateur wrestling?
I'm guessing he played in the NFL.
He played in the NFL for like 11 years. Was like a left guard for the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Never played a down of football in his life.
Because there are certain aspects, and what people don't understand sometimes is if you are an athlete, and a lot of these people that go to the Olympics are
sport,
pure athletes, you can translate that. You don't need to know how to play the game of football. You just need to know, hey, I'm a mat-based wrestler. My goal is to keep this individual on the mat so that I can get my point. I'm an offensive lineman. My goal is to keep the defense or protect my, like with all these different positions, they're very similar traits of what you would pick up in wrestling. So it's really not all that surprising.
Well, it's also like in 1996, another Olympic gold medalist, which we'll leave nameless, that you can probably guess from 1996.
Celebrating his 30th year.
Yes, that guy. Officially he actually offered a contract from the Pittsburgh Steelers to play fullback, and he turned him down. Yep. So like these guys, like you said, they're just like they're such an elite athlete. If you're like I said, my rule of thumb is I've always noticed if you're really good at one sport, you're not gonna be lousy at the others.
Right. No matter what. Not know the specifics of that other sport, but that can be taught very easily. It's a lot harder to teach pure athleticism.
Yeah, because it's like I remember I watching. I don't know if you know who Mark Rober is.
No.
He's like this guy. He does like all these like he does those god dang was those porch pirate cameras and all that he puts stuff like so when people steal stuff. Anyway, so like he got this guy I think he was like in the Mets organization or something like that, and he brought him to like a fair to do like the whole like milk jugs and all that, just to hustle him, to show what can be done, what can't be done. And they did the basketball, and this guy's like drilling threes like it's like no tomorrow, because it's like, oh yeah, he's kind of good at this too.
Right.
Because like I said, athletes are good at like everything. You just gotta go, hey, here's how you do it.
Right. Right. And you're not going to tell me that somebody who is a very good, track and field like that's an easy one. People are like, they can run fast, they should be in the NFL. But look at it in other ways. If you're good at running, you would be better as a swimmer than you would be in the NFL, because it's not just running.
It's like
your speed helps, but you need to be able to finesse it a little bit. So the obvious translatable things don't always translate. Sometimes it's more of those out of the box that you don't think about. But the more you consider the movements involved or the motions involved, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, then of course there's the anomalies. There are two guys that are great. A guy that's great like in multiple sports, like Shelton Benjamin. Like here's more facts about like more amateur wrestlers from the state of Minnesota. I guess they just breed athletes.
They do.
He was a national champion wrestler too. Like he was right before Lesnar was there. He was actually Lesnar's coach.
Yeah.
But he was also I think the Big Ten like track champion for 100-meter dash. Because you really see that out of a heavyweight wrestler at like 230 pounds.
Yeah.
Because it's just like he ran something like I think like a 4.3 40-yard dash too.
Jeez.
So yeah, he was so impressive that I remember Bill Belichick offered him it's not Belichick just finds these guys.
Yeah.
Like he offered him like a contract to play with safety for the Patriots out of the blue, like right after the Bills signed Lawyer Molay away from them in 2003.
Well,
Like,
look at the guy from the Patriots they brought in from the U.S. rugby team
yeah,
to play for them, and it worked out very well.
the fullback, isn't it, or
I think so. Matt, I feel like his name was Matt
Janik?
something.
It's like starts with J. I
Yeah,
forget the name.
something like that. But yeah, I mean, and the Eagles have done similar with their experiment of, again, the name is escaping me. It shouldn't escape me. But they signed him, not really football experience. He played rugby. He might have played Australian rules football.
Yeah, we have
Um,
the Bills have guys like that too.
and he, like, that is now becoming a pathway to the NFL. And I don't know why it surprises anybody, because
Or
those
it's like,
two sports are very, very similar in terms of how they are played. The biggest difference is you tackle people without pads on.
and
Rugby athletes are a heck of a lot.
well, they also know
more,
how to tackle. They know how to tackle properly because
do.
they don't because of the past. Well, that's why you see coaches like Sean McDermott. What's his name in Seattle? I'm sorry, Sean McDermott again. Wow.
Pete Carroll.
Thank you. It's been a long day. I've been up since 2:30. Everyone, so bear with me if I'm off with names. Yeah,
It's been a long day. It's only 3:00 in the afternoon.
I know, isn't it? But anyway, like it's like, yeah, it's like they bring in rugby guys to teach them how to tackle the right way, and like
Right.
how you, and like the Bills have a guy named Christian Wayland team. He's the same way. He was a pretty decent rugby star in England.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole international pathway thing. And like this is his third year. I mean, everyone's like raving, like, "Oh, he should be on the team." It's like, you know how good this Bills team is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like even at running back, it's like there's freaking stacked almost everywhere. But it's like they're giving them opportunities like where they would never have it anymore. It's like, and they're making good money to do just to try to make an NFL roster. I mean, it's not what they were making at rugby, but it's like, hey, why the hell not? Worst case, you make a team and you do good.
Right, and even if you're like practice squad on a team, you're making more money than you are, especially in the U.S. if you're playing rugby, because rugby's not big here.
No.
Rugby's very big in a lot of countries. Like if you're in New Zealand, if you're on the national rugby team, you are literally a national celebrity. Like there are certain countries where it's huge, but
well, they're also the way they're. I mean, you usually hear the stories of like rugby players coming to the States when they're like in their late 30s because they're done playing rugby. It's because like Darren Bennett, like Darren Bennett's a great example. Like pick the old punter for the Chargers. Did he play for your Eagles? So I know it's at least the Chargers, but like he played for like 7 years as their punter and he retired like at 46 because he's like, yeah, why not?
Right. Right. It's pretty funny when you come to the NFL.
You're like a 39-year-old rookie
because your previous sport was too physical. Like that just goes to show you how tough rugby is and the level of physicality. Well, yeah, and you go to be a punter, you're not going to get tackled all that often. Probably very rare that you accidentally get knocked over.
But the funny thing is, like guys like Bennett are like, they're not exactly the thing with these guys too. They're not small guys.
No.
So it's funny. It's like, yo, you're gonna hit me, go right ahead. I'll knock you out.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely interesting, and just kind of going back to the Olympics for a second to just wrap everything up, tie everything together. The United States did once again win the most medals and most golds. They continue to even though, and it's fair to say it, even
their
though
tracking sucked.
They really had a lot of missteps this year. They did not win as many swimming medals as they normally do. They certainly fell short, especially on the men's side.
Oh God,
track and field, like very, very disappointing. A lot of upsets going on there. There were some good stories on the women's side. Allison Felix.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention her.
Won another medal, made history.
2 medals.
Yeah, but made history as
most decorated.
11? Yeah, 11 medals, most decorated track field. So pretty special there.
And the whole story of her like getting dropped by Nike because she got pregnant for the second time.
Yep.
And then bet on herself and she won.
Yeah, I mean it's just incredible. And again, it's the enduring spirit of the Olympics. Like I know people criticize the fact that they happen. I get it. If I lived in Tokyo and I was worried about the rise of coronavirus and all of a sudden you're bringing in, 300 some or 205 nations competed in the Olympics. So you're bringing in people from 200 plus different countries who all, did
And
not
you-
have to necessarily, like they weren't
And-
required to be vaccinated to be in the Olympics. So there's all these kinds of different
and
things
you got
going on.
and you got to contain them in a spot where it's like, okay.
Yep, they're all living in this little tiny Olympic village, and
for the people that don't know how big Japan is, like the best way to describe it to people is it's got like 5 times the population of California, and it's the same size.
yeah. So like I get it. It definitely, I understand where that side of it comes from.
Like logistically, it's hell to be nice. Even with
Yeah.
on a good year, it's hell.
Yeah, and they, if Tokyo had canceled, they would have been for just in such bad shape because the insurance, the way that the insurance company for the IOC works, they were not allowing them to cancel it. So there's a lot of stuff going on there.
And the weather was insane too.
Right, it was way too hot,
or it was way too rainy.
Like they literally for beach volleyball had to hose down the courts before these matches so that the sand would not be 120 something degrees.
Yeah.
So definitely, there was definitely I understood why people were upset about it, but at the same time, it's hearing these stories that you don't hear. It's being able to give these athletes, like an Allison Felix, a platform to like a Simone Biles, to have this platform. And I mean, for her to ultimately come back and win a medal in her final event when she pulled out of everything else and, it was so uncertain, would this be her last Olympics? What was going on? Like there were so many good stories of people triumphing over whatever it might be, whether it was persecution, whether it was racism, whether it was, sexism, homophobia, like all these things that these athletes deal with that we don't see on a daily basis. To have the Olympics, and a lot of people say like, oh, I just want to watch the sports, I don't care about the video packages. Well, you don't necessarily have to care about the video packages, but listen to these athletes' stories and realize they are no different than the rest of us. The only difference is they were born with an incredible gift, and they spend every day of their lives working to perfect that gift just for the hope, just for the potential to go to the Olympics and win. Like some of these athletes, you have one event. Granted, you have, heats and semifinals and all that, but you are there for one event. You have one chance every 4 years. And you don't get a lot of every 4 years because athletic peaks don't last that long. So you're lucky, like, looking at that list of people that have gone to multiple Olympics, you're lucky if you get to go to multiple Olympics. It does not happen all the time, and you have to fight to go to multiple Olympics. So, seeing that spirit, I think, of the Olympics is probably my favorite part of it all. Being able to watch the sports is cool, and being able to see the new events and all of that, like that's great too. But it's the spirit of athleticism.
The stories are great.
And the stories of these individuals as they persevere through whatever it is that's going on. Individuals who lost a parent right before the games, or, dealing with mental health issues, all these other kind of things, having a baby and coming back to train and, be at your highest level.
Look at that girl from Poland or Belarus that was hiding in the Polish embassy because they thought they were going to kidnap her.
Yeah. Yeah, living in war-torn parts of the world where, you are risking your life by training. Like there's so much about the Olympics and in particularly what you see from the other countries, because the US is the US. We know what's bad here. We know what people deal with. We know those issues.
Nothing compared to what
it is nothing compared to what some of these. I mean, like when you think about just baseball in general and why so many athletes defect to come here from Cuba, from Venezuela, from these different places, because where they live, like as bad as things are here, and things have gotten pretty bad here, I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but as bad as things are here, when you put it into perspective of the global situation, still a lot better here than most places in the world.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's just, just the poverty difference between the United States and the rest of the world is just like, that alone, like you mentioned, war torn, like just everything else, trafficking, like Lord knows what else.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny?
Sure, I always like go for some funny.
So, North Korea did not send a delegation to the Olympics this year.
They usually I'm trying to unify with South Korea
Well,
because
they were worried about COVID, so they
well,
okay.
that's responsible of them.
So yeah, so that's the reason. But they are showing the Olympics on tape delay,
Oh boy, this has got to be good.
basically. So I don't know,
How many gold
like,
medals did North Korea win?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm curious now.
Like, did they win the Olympics? You know, is
Yes, they
that
did.
what happened? All the footage that they're gonna show?
The whole world got COVID. And they won everything by forfeit.
Yeah, that they won the
Well,
Olympics.
didn't Kim Jong Un's like sister or like aunt go to the Olympics or something like that, like as a representative? I think I saw.
Something like that. Yeah, somebody in the family,
But
I
like I said,
believe was there.
I still can't believe it's crazy enough that the Korea sends a unified team every year, or every Olympics, I should say, which is just baffling to me.
And it's one of those things though, as we talk about the spirit of the Olympics, for whatever reason, for 2 weeks out of the year, tied together by sport, they are able to unite as a
And
unified
let alone
Korea.
and let them get along.
Yeah. Like it,
It's-
and then go back to their regular lives. You know, that's the kind of the thing with the Olympics. You're almost in a bubble for those 2 weeks where, not to say the things that are going on in the world just suddenly stop, but
Well,
the idea of these heated rivalries are put aside, and
I
it's about sport.
I think because they got such a bad like I think North Korea does it honestly because of like 1972. I want to say it's either 72 or it's 72 because 76 was in Montreal.
Mhm.
Just for with the Munich games when like the PLL killed the entire Israeli team.
Right.
I think they don't want to be lit like, in that level of people anymore. So
I can understand that, wanting to
yeah,
escape the worst parts of your past.
or the worst person in your current existence. It's like people like know most the whole world doesn't know now Jews existed.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So it's like if you can do something positive, even if it's for like I said 2 weeks out of every 2 years, it's a good thing. Like I'm saying that because like they do it for both the winter and
Right.
the summer games, which is great. Like I said, I think it's a step forward, even if it's like I know they've done it for a while. I think it's been like the last I want to say since like 2000 they've been in United Korea.
Yeah, it's something like that.
But still, that's still huge because like I said, I know I've known people from Korea and they said they do not speak the same. Like they're a way different culture, like North and South Korea. They speak they speak a they quote unquote speak a different language. It's like it's a different world between North and South Korea even.
Oh, sure.
Let alone the world in North Korea.
Right.
I mean, we joke and say North Korea won every Olympic Games by forfeit because it's North Korea, haha, because it's probably true. They probably said that.
Yeah.
So that did make me laugh. Well, you mentioned that, but it's like it's like cool stories like that, or like sometimes like countries like when the Soviet Union broke up, they were still like wrestling on. They were still under one banner of the Soviet Union, but they were called the Unified Team.
Right.
With the exception of Lithuania. It's like stories like that. It's just like, oh my god, it's like the greatest like one of the greatest stories. Like if you ever get a chance to watch it, watch The Other Dream Team. It's about the Lithuanian basketball team who seceded from the Soviet Union just to play in the Olympics because they were sick of the Soviet Union's like power hand, and they didn't have the money to get into the Olympics. Despite like Shuras Marciulionis was on the team, Avidas Sabonis was on the team. Like this team was a really good team. They won the bronze.
Right.
But like the greatest thing about the whole story is who actually paid for them to go to the Olympics, because you know how you get like sponsors and yada yada. The greatest thing is who sponsored them to get into the Olympics.
Yeah, wasn't it something in the U.S.?
The Grateful Dead did it.
The Grateful Dead did it.
They gave them the money to go to the Olympics in Barcelona.
That's really funny.
They gave them the money and they created the T-shirts too. Yeah, so like I think it was what Jim Lampley says, like if you're like one like the 1% of 1% that was not like didn't give a shit about the United States men's basketball team killing everyone.
Right.
This was a great story, and you should look into it. People should look into it more.
So yeah, like the Olympics, definitely. I mean, it sounds great.
So let's see what else in the Olympics. We've touched wrestling, gymnastics. Like I still laugh. But my favorite story is not it's Olympic related with the Olympics without being Olympic related because it involves Mike Greenberg. I think we talked about like where he sees like Suni Lee win the gold medal on one TV, and he's got Sports New York on another TV, and it's like the third string quarterback for the Jets is playing, they taking starting reps, and he's like crying in one eye and another saying the other
Oh
screen,
yeah, yeah.
and he's like, "What the hell is going on with my Jets?" Because I think that was our last show because it was like right after we talked about it. Zach Wilson finally did sign. He was the last player signed in the draft.
Yeah.
And he missed 2 practices, which is still like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Well, there was actually a great story connecting Sam Darnold with I forget the guy's name. One of the
Should I make a mono joke?
No. One of the Olympic servers, Kohei Kolu, something like that. But there was a story how the two are connected, and I was like, wow, it's like this is really fascinating. And just again, like the sport part of Olympics are great, but it is the stories.
Oh, absolutely. I don't care
wherever they come from, whatever they might be, hearing these individuals and the journeys that they take and what connects them to each other, and all of these different elements, like the U.S. Olympic fencing team. One of the guys on it, his dad is the coach of the team. So like there's connections there to be able to, one of the gymnasts, I think it was Jade Carey, her dad is her coach. And at a time where you weren't allowed to have family and friends there, your father's your coach, so he's allowed to be there. Being able to just connect these relationships between these athletes and their families, and there's so much in the way of stories that you could spend years watching. Over 2 weeks, you do not get everything. They give you a lot, but there's still so much out there that's just unscratched surface.
Oh God, I mean, I think that's just the American-based stuff. Like I would love to see like the CBC or the BBC broadcasts of them where like they're not American-centric at all.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like I mean, I do feel bad for like everyone, like all the people in the media all around the world that like they got those fanatic guys right in front of them. They must have so much struggles with every name.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
I would love to see one. I should ask if I know it's got one, like a fanatic guide to like every athlete that's been in the Olympics like every 4 years, because it's like I can't imagine the book they probably get. Because I mean, if you gotta talk about everyone like in one sport, like gymnastics, you got some interesting names to say. And hopefully you say them right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are going to be mistakes that you make. People do it all the time, especially when it comes to some of these Eastern European countries and Slavic nations.
Yeah, so you go from like you especially when you got like the nice like friendly. You got like Terry Gannon, which shout out to Terry, he's really good and all that. With Terry, it was Terry Gannon, Johnny Weir, and Tara Lipinski did the gymnastics, right? Or I think they did. But it's like that's my favorite group of like broadcasters for the Americans. It's not just because I know Terry, it's because I do have a crush on Tara, but that's not the point here. But I think they just have they've worked together for so long, like between like winter games and summer games and just like ice skating, like and everything. They know each other so well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and part of on commentary is developing that chemistry. And that's why you see a lot of these commentary teams from Olympics to Olympics. It's the same people that do it all the time.
Yeah, because they know their stuff and like they've worked together for so long. It's like you don't need to break them up. You can just it's like they don't talk for 4 years, and they're best friends again. I mean, sometimes they are usually friends outside, but so it's like hilarious to think it's like they don't talk to each other like, unless you see like American nationals and then like the worlds, and then like okay, they're at the Olympics now. Mm-hmm. And that's like their life. That's it.
But hey, it's certainly making enough money to do it.
I hope so. Let's see, what else do we got today? So let's see. Yeah, I think we nailed the Olympics pretty well. I mean,
we'll see the Olympics again. I mean, that's kind of the cool part about this delay is we get back-to-back Olympics now.
Yeah,
so we go from summer in August to September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months, and we'll be at the Winter Olympics. So pretty cool.
Hopefully that is like, I mean, with China, who the heck knows?
I would
But yeah, it's gonna be great.
imagine
And like,
if anybody finds a way to pull off Olympics during
oh,
COVID,
even
it
even
would
more
be
than us, I would
China.
even say
Yeah, because
they'll find a way.
we would err more on the side of caution.
Not, well,
They
not
err
even that.
more
Well,
on the side of we want to show off again.
well, that, and I think they would just like lock everyone down, saying you're not going anywhere to your events
They
going
would.
on.
They 100% would.
It'll be like you. Okay, come with us.
Yeah.
You're ice skating now.
You're ice skating now.
Right, but I'm a skier. I don't care. You're ice skating.
Hey, that's how that was their goal in Operation Gold back in Beijing, where they literally funneled athletes into sports like swimming, like diving, like track and field, where there are the potential for the most medals. Not to, don't focus on team sports. You can only win one medal. Focus on these individual events, and I believe they didn't win most medals that year, but they did win most golds.
Yeah, not like this year.
Their
So
plan worked out. Yeah, not this year. It was looking dicey for a while there. But I always kind of had in the back pocket. I was like, we still have the team sports. We still have men's basketball, women's basketball. We won pair of silvers in baseball and softball, which was good. We won the golf, which was good.
Yeah. So yeah, Bronson's happy. So let's see if he actually win like a major now.
Novak Djokovic did not win a medal, and it was great after his comments. Karma's a B.
So like I said, so let's see what's going on. What's going on my lovely outline of mine. That if you don't know, like I usually send like merely like the most like briefest outline ever. Like it's we're gonna like X, Y, boom, 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 boom. That's it. No details. And then I send merely like an essay.
Yeah, it was a good one this time.
I told you it's because I was pissed off from work. So like there's that. You get pissed off more, please. More detail. Let's see what else. We got a lot. So let's see. We could talk about last night quickly, like the baseball game.
Yeah.
Really amazing. Like I said, greatly. Like Fox nailed it.
They did.
Like every sense of the way. Like they made you feel like you were like in the 1920s, or like when you were actually or watching the movie. I'm so like wow. Field of Dreams. That was really cool. I mean, like that's actually I found out like you can like rent the hotel, the edge of the house out with a baseball diamond, which is right across the way. That's why they showed two diamonds.
Yeah, that was really cool too.
You can rent it out for $700 a night.
Wow.
But you get use of the field too.
That's not even bad to be able to say that you stayed there.
I mean, it's like $500 if you don't want to use the field, but it's like $200 more. Spend the $200, play on the baseball diamond once, play catch with your kid.
Yeah.
And like I said, aesthetically it was gorgeous. Like I'm not even gonna bash Joe Buck this time because I like him as a baseball commentator, no matter how much nepotism it is.
But I think he's better as a baseball commentator than he's a football one.
Or don't even. I can't even say my comments about him covering golf. For the U.S. Open, I would be.
That just sounds weird.
It's
like him being a golf commentator.
It's even worse than weird.
Just let Jim Nantz do it. Just
they actually brought him on
all the time.
2 years ago, they actually had him on the Fox broadcast.
Did
for
they?
Like a second. I can't imagine what they paid him. It would have been like the way I saw it. Like I thought pro wrestling as soon as I saw it. In the sense, like, could you imagine like saying like Sting showing up in WWE TV in like 1998?
Yeah.
It would have been, or vice versa, or like Steve Austin.
It kind of reminds me of like when the WWE wanted Ric Flair back for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And they were like, what do you want? They're like, oh, we want Christian. So it's like, hey Fox, hey CBS, what do you want for us to borrow Jim Nantz?
For like 30 minutes.
Yeah. We want several $1 million.
Yeah.
But he is the GOAT golf commentator.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. GOAT modern commentator, Ken Ventura.
Well,
it's because he's done so many of them.
Mm-hmm. That's like Bob Costas as an Olympic commentator.
Honestly, there's like
former baseball commentator.
I mean, real quick, like golf before we get back to baseball, real quick, is like if you actually watch the Masters has their own YouTube channel and they've got like the last like 40 years of Masters coverage on
Oh yeah,
CBS.
that's pretty cool.
It's glorious seeing like Jim Nantz in like the early 80s, and he's just like a whole commentator, and he's so young
Yeah,
compared to like now where he's like the standard like we talked about. But so like back to the game, like the game was great. Like I know you're happy because the Yankees lost, but it was like
yes.
but the fact that like they came back.
Yeah, there was a large deficit, and they came back, and then it ended in a walk-off. I mean, you couldn't have asked, I think, for a better first.
Yeah.
And it's fortunate because for a while people were looking at it's not going to be that good. The Yankees aren't competitive. Then the Yankees went out and
They got hot.
bought a bunch of players, traded for a bunch of players, and they
They're
definitely got hot.
17-7 since the All-Star game.
Yeah. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but unfortunately for them, it's the fact that it's too little too late, in my opinion. I think the Rays are scorching right now.
But they're only 2 games out of the second wild card spot.
True. Yeah, that's true. The wild card is definitely within reach, but they will not win the division. Tampa Bay is just obscenely good.
And they got rid of their best player.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fascinating with the Rays because, like, going into this season, they were not projected to do anything. You looked at any sort of, MLB's rankings. You look at they were third. It was Yankees, Red Sox, Rays, and then flyer on the Blue Jays. But it's absolutely incredible how they managed to do this. And Joe Madden's not even there anymore. Like, I used to think it was a Joe Madden thing. No, it is an organizational thing, top down.
Isn't he like in Washington
enough? No, so was Chicago, wasn't he?
I thought they fired him like a couple years ago.
Oh, maybe.
Anyway,
I didn't think so, but now I gotta look it up. But yeah, so the idea of how they're built.
Well, they're built as a unit. They're not built.
Oh, it's with the Angels. That's right. He's with.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I saw red in my head. I just didn't know where it was. But like I was saying, I was
he's managed the Angels a lot over his career.
They're built, like I said, the Rays are built as a unit. They're not built as like, okay, you're gonna be this star, this star, this star.
Right. There is not to say there's no star power, but it's that idea.
There really isn't though.
There's totally next
man up. Their team is
the
star power.
No one is untradeable. No one is, and they continue to find guys. Like, they're not a bad team in terms of where they're going in the draft order, but my goodness, are they drafting players year after year after year, coming up and making an impact, not just with their team, but helping them make an impact in order to trade and, do these other things.
I don't know if it's the Detroit Tigers logic of sucking so long that their draft picks are finally hitting up.
But the thing is, the guys that are coming up now are not from the years of sucking.
Yeah, that's
Wander Franco, who is just a wonder kid, I want to say he was drafted in 18. I think.
It's just baffling to me too. It's like these guys, they're not like the first overall pick. Like it's Strasburg every year, where you get you probably could get a generational talent almost every year.
Right.
And you're missing. I mean, after pick 1, it's a crapshoot in the Major League Baseball draft. Like 9 times out of 10.
I mean, I say you go beyond pick 1 sometimes.
Well,
I think you can stretch out to like pick 5.
10. Well, it depends on if they sign with your team or not. It's like if they don't sign with your team, good luck.
Well, true. Yeah, like what just happened to the Mets. Couldn't happen to a better team.
God, that kid is he's better than Eller's son, and he fell to him and he told him no.
Yep. Fantastic. Gotta love it. You love to see it, as they say.
Yeah, because I thought they got the steal in the draft with that guy, and they couldn't sign him really.
Oh, so here you go, Franco. He wasn't drafted.
Jeez.
The Rays signed him in 2017 as an amateur free agent.
So yeah,
and he rose the ranks to become the top prospect in baseball.
Which is insane to think about, considering the fact that like I said, he's undrafted.
He was in that draft.
2018's got to be like
2017.
But it's still baffling to think you didn't draft this guy. He didn't get drafted by anyone, and there's was there 15 rounds in the Major League Baseball draft? It's some absurd number, regardless.
They might even be in 20 now. I don't even know.
I lost count.
It's held over like 3 days, so
Yeah, and it's like
yeah.
it's like 1,500 picks too.
Okay, so 2017 Major League Baseball draft.
Who's number one overall?
Royce Lewis of the
Okay.
Minnesota Twins.
The catcher, isn't he, or
Still in the Twins organization.
so he's probably still well. He's got another year.
And then, but like going down the rest of the names, I don't know any of these guys until, with the exception of the guy that the Phillies picked, just because I watched him play.
Right.
But the only other one who would be notable of this top 15 would be Trevor Rogers for the Marlins.
That's saying something right there. Like,
yep.
That every team missed this guy like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Now, how many rounds are there again?
There's like, just a bunch of, here we go, other notable selections. These people are notable, but I honestly have not heard of any of these guys.
That should tell you something right there. In 4 years, you don't hear about any of these guys.
Dang.
That's insane to think about.
He is, so Trevor Rogers of this list is the only top first round pick to be an all-star.
That's pathetic.
Now, granted, Wander Franco is not yet an all-star.
But he was also
however, had he played the full year this year, probably would have been. And yes, he was a 0 pick.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to know how many rounds that they have?
33.
Let's see. Why does it not say? I don't want to see first round selections. I want to see how many rounds are in the draft. It just says 36 first round selections. Okay, well, here you go. If this helps you narrow it down, there were 1,215 total selections.
So even if it was 1,216, he's better than 1,215 players.
Yep.
And that's me being optimistic, being like, just like picking an arbitrary number just because, it's the easiest to do.
So this year there were 20 rounds.
Well, there's also like these round Bs and stuff like that, and
Oh, but they went they went to 20 rounds this year due to COVID reducing the draft last year to just 5 rounds. 5 rounds from the standard 40.
So yeah, it's 40, and there's like I said, there's like round B, round A. There's
compensatory rounds and competitive balance rounds.
And they don't even they don't even count those.
Yeah, so they normally do 40 rounds.
It's like usually about like 1,500 players are drafted.
Unreal. So at the time when Wander Franco would have been draft eligible, there would have been 40 rounds.
So yeah, we'll just say he's at least the 1,500th best player in the draft.
Yep.
And he's the best player of it.
Yep, rose to the top prospect in baseball, and there is no reason to think that he will not be a major player, whether or not that's on Tampa Bay, because people don't stay there long, but he will definitely have an impact in this league.
Oh God, yeah.
Barring like catastrophe, injury, anything like that, he will definitely have an impact on his league. But anyway, we got off track because we were talking about Field of Dreams, and then we just got distracted by talking about how bad the Yankees are.
And we talked about like how like cool it was. I mean, you taped the game. I actually watched some of the game last night. It's like, and we talked about the most important, the funny thing actually in your eyes, my eyes is
the presentation of the game from the beginning. I didn't get a chance to watch the pregame show. I got home late from work and I forgot to record it, so I didn't get a chance to watch. I wanted to see part of the pregame show.
He was on the pregame too.
I figured as much. Did they show the was that the A-Rod Big Poppy thing? Was that on the pregame as well? Yeah, I saw the clip of that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, hell no, I'm not playing catch with you. Really, really funny. But yeah, the way that they did it, you heard the music. There was no commentary. It was just Kevin Costner speaking, walking through the field, walking through the corn, the physical corn, with the Yankees coming out and the White Sox coming. Like the presentation of it was so well done. The only thing that didn't make sense to me, but I think I know why they did it that way, was he's coming out with a baseball. When you see somebody holding a baseball, your first assumption is, oh, Kevin Costner's going to throw the first pitch. Of course he's going to throw the first pitch. Who else could throw the first pitch? But then he just goes up there and he speaks in front of a mic for a little bit and is like, "Hi, I'm Kevin Costner. We made this movie, and today
My
you got your first place White Sox and the mighty Yankees." It was like they can't even say anything about the Yankees, but like your third place Yankees.
my biggest
But
beef with that whole thing too was not even that. I was like, what the hell is it? Like one, I didn't get why they were both wearing like white jerseys, basically. Like I would have had the Yankees wear like they should have broke out the old retros for the Yankees, like
so
the
the
1903.
annoying, yeah, the annoying part about the Yankees jerseys were their
They were the,
retro looks exactly the same.
but they
It's
could
like a
have
little bit thicker font. That's it. That's the only
they
difference. Thicker
they
on the
could
hat, thinner on the jersey.
they should have done like the 1903 retro, which is actually really cool looking, like the navy blue NY. I
Yeah,
think
is
I
that the
sent
one
you a
you sent
picture.
me? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 1903 Yankees. I've done that.
So I mean, I guess they went
They,
like,
they I mean, they got really lucky with this game too. If it was yes or 2 days ago, I should say now, because
yeah, it would
yes,
have
last night
poured.
they had a tornado warning the entire day.
Yeah. Well, you talk about the Midwest. That's
Yeah,
what
you got
happens
it.
there sometimes.
Well,
Kind of surprised they didn't build the Field of Dreams with a dome, but
that
would have taken away from it.
yeah, you don't get the feels.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't have gotten the feel of it. I mean, how cool is it? Like, again, I did not see the whole game, so I don't know who did what, but I did see Jose Abreu, he was the first person to ever hit a home run in the state of Iowa in a Major League Baseball game.
Well,
Hit
that's not saying
hit
much.
the ball into the
Well,
corn, and it was just like the weirdest, coolest feeling watching a guy hit a home run
well,
into a bunch of ears of corn. And it
they
just spoke to that Field of Dreams feel. Like the fact that they built this thing on a cornfield was so cool.
and like they had so many great Iowa connections too. Like the girl that sang the national anthem, what was one of the American
Yeah,
Idol.
from American Idol.
She's
From
from
Iowa.
Iowa, and the home plate umpire was from Iowa, but he was in the first choice. It was like Eric. I can't think of his last name. Longtime Major League Baseball, but dropped dead like 2 years ago.
Oof.
And like this, but they had but the home plate umpire was still from Iowa,
Yeah, that's really cool.
and but they paid tribute to him and everything too, which is great. My other gripe with the game was how was it? I just blanked on it. Oh yeah, why did they do it in 2021?
So it was supposed to be done last year.
Doesn't matter. Movie came out in 1989. They should have done like on the 30th anniversary.
Didn't Kevin Costner say it was the 30th anniversary?
It was the 30. It's the 32nd anniversary. It really is. It came out in 1989.
I'm pretty sure he said it was the 30th
So
anniversary.
they shot it in '88. Still not my favorite. By the side note, it's not my favorite Kevin Costner movie, and I will die on this hill, and I don't care.
A lot of
And
people say it's not even the best Kevin Costner baseball movie.
I would agree with that too.
Got a lot of Bull Durham fans out there.
And for love of the game isn't bad either. For dropping that one, but no, the best Kevin Costner movie by far, without question. If we had a friend of the show, if we had a friend of the show, he would agree with me 100%. Tin Cup is still the greatest Kevin Costner movie of all time.
Tin Cup was a good movie.
And I will die on that hill.
Yeah, Tin Cup was a good movie. Wow, Kevin Costner's done a lot of sports movies.
I think that's not a coincidence. And he does, I think he did the crazy thing is like, granted, he's not because he's 66 now, but like he did a lot of his own stuff for those movies. Like
He's
shot all his
only
gunshots.
66.
Yeah, I thought, and because
He looked a lot older than 66.
he definitely colored that. He does that. That's definitely bleached blonde.
Hmm.
I saw that last night. I'm like, oh jeez. And he's got like an 11-year-old kid. My friend and I were talking about that last night online.
Wow, that's
I thought like he was married. I thought because he's probably been married like 7 times.
Yeah,
No,
true.
only 2.
Only 2. Oh wow, okay.
That's what I said. I was like, holy shit. Good.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was definitely a really cool,
Oh, nostalgia
really cool
galore.
thing, and 100% the right choice to have the White Sox in the game, not just due to proximity, but because
I
the
think they
movie
should.
Field of Dreams was based on the book Shoeless Joe, which was about the White Sox versus the Black Sox, the whole Black Sox controversy. So that was really cool.
I'd do an
do
interlude
you have
series.
the White Sox do it every year?
Yes,
I
would.
think you have to.
I would
I
have.
think you
I
have
have the
to.
White.
Yeah, White Sox versus Cubs.
Yes, I'd do a
Yeah.
3-game series down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I mean, like I know you're like iffy about the whole feeling about doing it every year as like all of the Winter Classic, but I'd say do at least one game down there a year just because it's there now.
Well, that's the thing too. Like Major League Baseball is going to use this field in some way, shape, or form. Whether that means moving a minor league team to Iowa to play off of this field, I don't simply think
Seven.
it's here for
Yeah,
us to use once a year.
I hope the Iowa State baseball team
That would
uses
be
it too.
nice. Yeah, that would be nice. I'm sure they'll do like national tournaments there. Maybe they'll even have the
Yeah,
NCAA World Series there. That would
yeah,
be really cool.
they'll keep it in Omaha.
They'll move it out of Omaha for 1 year.
They'll do is just make you happy. I
Like
promise.
do the Little League World Series there 1 year.
There we go. That's
It
what they
doesn't
should.
always have to be in Williamsport. I get the allure. But like, how cool would it be for a bunch of kids to play on the field adjacent to? Oh,
The
I guess
Field of
the
Dreams.
problem is that field would be too big.
Well, they
You can put in temporary fences
Yeah,
to bring
they do.
Yeah.
It's like they've had a major
I think they should
baseball.
have the All-Star game there 1 year.
I think they absolutely. They think they had a major league game inside the Little League World Series stadium.
Yeah.
I think they moved the fence back, but I think they did it. Like, I think they moved the fence back like 100 feet, but they still did like a little league of a pro game inside like of what's it called the where the Little League World Series is played. I think they had a game there. Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the name. Again, long week. But yeah, stuff like that. It's like it was really really cool. It's like aesthetically it was perfect, and like okay, like I'm just getting to celebrate right now. Like everyone said, like oh the guys look so cool, like dressed like they were like in the 1920s. I got creeped out by them a little bit, admittedly.
Yeah.
Like how no, it's everyone's like oh that's cool. Like they're in Iowa.
I liked it.
They look like they were in the Children of the Corn movies. If you haven't seen those,
I see.
if you see it, like not just because it's in a cornfield, I swear that's not the reason why. But it's literally if you watch the first Children of the Corn movie and you see like I think it's Ken Rosenthal. First of all, he looks just like the villain in the movie.
Because the bow tie.
Yeah, well the bow tie, in just the hat and everything. Yeah, and what's his name was there too doing interviews. How was it? The big name sports writer that has massive traction. I can't think of it. It's not Ken Rosenthal. It's
There's a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I know.
Works for ESPN.
No, it's for Fox. He works for, I guess.
Works for Fox. Big name.
Bow tie, really. But it was funny because he was interviewing Giancarlo Stanton.
I thought Ken Rosenthal was the only guy that wore the bow tie.
It might be, but like, yeah, you're right. It is. Sorry, but it's like I didn't realize how small he was. Like,
oh yeah, he's very short.
I think he's shorter than you.
I don't know about that.
He was interviewing.
He might be like 5'5", 5'6".
Because I say he was interviewing. What's his name? Like Giancarlo Stanton. He looked like a child next to him. It was quite comical to me. My only gripe was like he didn't have a mask handy, which kind of bugged me in a little way because like I've seen like other people like interview players if they're close enough to them, they have their mask either on or like right at their hand. So like
yeah,
just little things like that. Like and like I said, I had no problem with Joe Buck calling the game. John Smoltz did a great job. They Fox like said they said it, and everyone's like agrees. Fox hit a home run with this. They really really did.
Yeah. I mean it's hard to find something that they could have done better. Like I said, the only thing that would have, if they actually had somebody throw out the first pitch, Kevin Costner threw out the first pitch and didn't just kind of stand there and walk, but he's too old, he didn't feel like he could throw it out, or whatever the case might be.
But that's the best part about the first pitch is like no one's gonna be hit. No one like throws a strike every time.
True. No one's gonna boo you for like bouncing it. You're freaking Kevin Costner. Like
pro baseball players bouncing, they make millions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like and the game lived up to it. It reminded me, like we mentioned the Winter Classic. It reminded me of the first one between the Sabres and the Penguins, where it went to a shootout.
Right.
And Sidney Crosby got the game-winning goal.
Yeah. There's certain things that Fox could not have predicted any element about the actual baseball playing on the field. They could control everything else, but they could not do anything about the baseball playing on the field. They could not have gotten a better game.
No, they really couldn't have.
Ended with effectively the hometown White Sox because, it's Chicago, Illinois to Iowa is not that far of a trip.
Honestly, God, I did MapQuest or Google Maps last night. I was bored and I found out how far it was. It's only 12 hours from me in New York.
Yeah,
To get
it's
to
because it's like a straight drive.
yeah, it's a really boring drive too.
Oh, true.
I mean, like, it's not quite like driving to Philadelphia,
How does Kevin Costner look older than the guy that played his dad in the movie?
Because I think the guy that plays his dad's only like a year older than him or a year younger than him or something like
I don't know. He looks pretty young. I'm looking at this tweet.
that. Tequila's, whiskey's a hell of a drug. Okay, Kevin Costner's not coming on our show now.
But see that would have been fun if he had thrown out the first pitch
To the guy that
to
plays
his
his dad.
dad, to the actor, like, "Hey, Dad, you want to have a catch?" And then throws out the first pitch.
Yeah,
That's
it's like,
that's probably the only thing that they could have done that would have made it from like 99.9% to 100% perfect.
they mentioned the umpire too did that with his father and his son. They
Yeah,
played they right before like half hour before the game, before they took the field, I should say. They were over at the Field of Dreams field, the one where the movie which was shot,
yeah.
and they actually played catch for like a half hour with his father and his son.
Oh,
I thought that's just awesome.
that's baseball.
Yeah, that really is. That's baseball in a nutshell.
Like baseball is a father son game. It really is. It is that idea of, it's because it's a game that almost everybody plays when they're a kid. Whether or
Yeah,
not you go on to,
because
and
it's the
I
easiest.
say father son, but like of course daughters play it, and their mothers play it, like, but it's the idea of connecting it to Field of Dreams, that father son, you played the game and your father played the game and his father played the game. It like is, you can connect with baseball in a
Or if you're
way that, not to say you can't with other sports, but there's something about, like, not every kid plays football, not every kid plays basketball, but I would imagine most kids at least are playing t-ball. So you're
yeah,
playing a form of baseball in a way that you don't really have to be that good to play t-ball. Everybody makes the team. You hit the ball off the tee.
I was gonna joke and say my dad was so competitive he threw me at a father son game once, which is true.
That's pretty funny.
That's sad but true.
Sad but true.
These weren't curveballs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
straight. He liked the fastball. Just a bit inside, we'll say.
just a bit inside.
Instead of outside, yeah, these were a little inside and tight and snug. I mentioned like 8. Let's see.
It's pretty special.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Well, like in the love letter doomed from me to Merrily, did we include for this week? There was a lot. Let's see. I mean, we can talk about the deaths if you want.
If you want. You can
Yeah,
acknowledge them. We don't necessarily have to go into super detail.
I mean, we did have 2 big name deaths in the like world of sports. I mean, one I didn't really know, though, one I knew pretty well because, well, I'm older than her. That's the best way I know. Reason why I know her, know him better. Like the first one was Tony Esposito. He's a longtime goalie for the Chicago Blackhawks. And where he played the other year? Do you remember off the top of your head?
I don't.
Either way,
he played 15 years for the Blackhawks, and I'm not sure who he spent. Oh, the Canadians. He played 16 years total, 15 with the Blackhawks, 1 for the Canadians.
And like you said, like this guy was he was a 3-time Vezina, which is the best goalie in the NHL. Like this guy was really well decorated after his career. Him and I think brother, who are both in the Hall of Fame, mind you, are like I think they did basically brought up the whole Tampa Bay Lightning and like the rest they say is history for them. And like I said, he was just a great player. And like I said, he had to be he's in the Hall of Fame. He's got to be at least pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, he has his jersey number, was retired by the Blackhawks. He was named to one of the greatest NHL players 100. In history. Yeah, ESPN, or not ESPN. I think NHL did the list. Yeah.
Yeah, and it said in my
yeah, for their 100th anniversary, they did top 100 players.
And like I said, and like my whole fun tie-ins, the fact that like his jersey was worn by Garth Algar in both with the Wayne's World movies when they played the 30 seconds they play hockey in both movies, which is great in my eyes. That they, I mean, because it's based in Chicago, so why the heck not? So there's that. And the other person that passed away was probably the greatest tag team wrestler of all time, in the beautiful Bobby Eaton. And like when Merrily said she didn't really know him, I kind of sighed heavily to her. I mean, Grant, like she was. I mean, yeah. I mean, granted, he wrestled more in like the 80s and like early 90s. Like, I mean, he was like tag team champions with like Arn Anderson, like the Midnight Express. God, like Steven Regal was like William Regal for like all you WWE fans. Like, he would get it. The whole thing that happened, they made him like basically. He's from Birmingham, Alabama, and they made him like an Earl like of Eden, like inside of like England. It was like a rib. It started with William Regal saying like because originally I don't know if you know like him and Steven Regal and Triple H were supposed to be this great WCW tag team. They were gonna be the original Blue Bloods, but then Triple H was like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, Eric. I'm gone, and he went to WWE, and the rest is history for that. But since Steven Regal stayed, like yeah, and he's like basically Eric Bischoff told him, who do you want as your tag team partner now that Levesque is gone, and he basically as a rib, you know, he worshipped the guy like Bobby Eaton. But as a rib, he wanted to make him a blue blood. I mean, this guy is, you know, Southern, a good old Southern boy, like no tomorrow, and you're making him basically be English. I mean, fill your own jokes in, like, and it worked because the guy wrestled so damn well. Like he was best known for his timing in the ring was probably better than almost anyone. Like if you go back and watch the stuff, like he was so well thought of in WCW, even like Goldberg wanted to end his streak to him in Birmingham, Alabama. Like his first run, like he wanted to do it before he got the championships. They had a show in Birmingham. I think I don't know if it was a Nitro or a Thunder, but Goldberg said, "I want to end my streak to Bobby Eaton in Birmingham, Alabama. That's his hometown."
Yeah.
I mean, that shows you how much he thought of Bobby Eaton. Like this guy was they say everyone says especially after they die, they was like, oh yeah, he's such a great guy, he's so nice. No, Bobby was one of those guys. I mean, I tell a story to Mary Lee about like how like he brought an extra suitcase everywhere they traveled on the road because with full of toiletries in case one of the guys on the road, guys or girls on the road didn't have a certain thing. Like who does that? Like you carry an extra suitcase when you travel with friends?
Do I carry?
Hey,
yeah, no.
yeah. Oh, you forgot this? Well, here you go. Oh, like we can't go to like the CVS down the street, but like this Bobby's got it right here. Yeah, he was just all around like a great guy, and like he said, it was one of the greatest wrestlers. And sadly, WWE's probably gonna put him in like that like whole legacy wing, which is gonna suck because he deserves his own spot in it.
Yeah.
Like he was even part of the Dangerous Alliance. I mean, if you think it was in the Dangerous Alliance, I mean, it's all Hall of Famers, and then you know, and Bobby Eaton's like I think the only one that's not. I mean, okay, except for the manager. Well, he will be a Hall of Famer. I will bet on it. In case you're wondering who the Dangerous Alliance was, it was like Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Beautiful Bobby, and I forgot and Larry Zbyszko. Yeah, it's all four of the five wrestlers are Hall of Famers, and the manager's going to be a Hall of Famer because. You can guess who's running the Dangerous Alliance, do you? Do you know who Paulie Dangerously is?
Yeah.
I would hope so, because you're in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I know.
Because you say that loudly in Philadelphia, they might break that window that's right there for her, everyone that's watching along on the show. And like probably kidnap Mary and like really question her like brain at all. So yeah, it's like these guys, like all the whole groups should be Hall of Famers, and they I mean, grant not as a collective, just individually, because just like it's a who's who like names, and you know Medusa's too in it too. So even the woman wrestler in it,
right,
is a Hall of Famer. So it's just crazy that it's like he's not, and he should be. Like Arn Anderson would vouch for him. Like anyone that's in that group will say like, why isn't Bobby in?
Mm-hmm.
Even more so now. I mean. Paul Heyman and Jim Cornette do not agree on a lot of things. We'll say over the years.
Yeah, not many.
But this is one of them. They will both vouch for Beautiful Bobby. We'll see. Like I said, it's a big lot. It's. I mean, he hasn't been involved in wrestling since I think like 5-6 years ago, and he had his last official match at like 61 years old. It was against it was like it was literally against what's his name Richard Morton, who was part of the Rock and Roll Express, who were WWE Hall of Famers, and it was like the 30-year feud between the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express, or 30 or 40 year. It was one of the other, but so it's still a crazy number like that. Yeah, it was a 30 year because it was like 2016 was his last match. So yeah, those are two unfortunate deaths. Like I said, I don't know as much about as as I do beautiful Bobby, but like it still sucks. So we got to report deaths here.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Never
Let's see.
never a positive way to, but
No,
it's always nice to be able to celebrate someone's career and the accomplishments that they had. And unfortunately, we tend to do that after they die. We don't tend to celebrate it while they're still living, but at the very least, you're still finding a way to acknowledge that person. And I
and
don't know, maybe we should start celebrating people before they die.
or I guess we should celebrate the fact that he made it to 62.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers from that era, that's for
It,
whatever
or
reason, they're with all
I,
the problems that went on, and
I
the
watched the Mid South. I don't know if you ever watched what's it called, WCCW, not to confuse the
no, I didn't
Atlanta
watch
based one.
that.
It's on YouTube. I watched it last night, and it's like of all the Von Erichs, it's like it's so sad.
Yeah,
It's like the Hart family on steroids. It's the best way I could describe it.
yeah. Well, yeah,
I,
like there's what, one,
yes,
two of those brothers maybe left.
one.
Yeah, the one
Like
who's
yeah,
Kevin, I think his name is.
yeah. Kevin's the only one, and he's like I think he works for WWE or he's
MLW.
That's but I'm sure I think he's on decent terms with WWE because he's in they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because it's like God, it's like imagine having like two brothers, like I think it's no sorry, three brothers kill themselves. One gets electrocuted, one gets toxic shock. It's like there's like six brothers, and he's the last one, and like it's just like heartbreaking. It's like God. And they even acknowledge like they try to do like a storyline where Fritz, the father, like the patriarch of the family, has a heart attack on TV. It's like right after one of the brothers dies, like 6 months afterwards. Like,
jeez,
it's like I mean, and no one cared because it's like people are so desensitized. Just this family is just so cursed that it's not surprising. It's just like we can't do anything more.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like it was just crazy to think. It's like yeah, and like it was pretty cool that they had in it. It was just something I watched the other night. Let's see what else. We talked about baseball, football. Preseason started like last night.
Preseason technically started
The Hall of
week.
Fame game.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Hall of Fame game is like the weird anomaly of the whole thing where it's like it counts as a preseason, but it doesn't.
Well, I mean, no one. First of all, preseason doesn't matter anyway. You could go.
It doesn't matter to starters.
My favorite story of all time is the Detroit Lions went 4-0 in the preseason, the year that they went 0-16. So if you ever needed a reason for somebody to tell you that preseason doesn't matter, it's that right there. Does it matter for if you're going to make a cut, if positional battles, starting, things like that? Yes. But like in terms of saying the Hall of Fame doesn't matter, no. I would say the Hall of Fame matters the same amount as any other preseason game, honestly.
The only thing I like about preseason games is that like the guys that are like the third running back trying to make the team.
Yeah, you watch the positional battles.
Honestly, I like the games. I think they play harder in the preseason, to be honest with you.
I don't know. If you watched the end of that Eagles-Steelers game yesterday and you watched those third stringers try to play football, it was embarrassing.
I think my biggest gripe is like I don't mind players like sitting out the entire preseason, but I don't think they should. Like unless you're like an Aaron Rodgers, like I don't even like Josh Allen sitting out for a preseason, like all three preseason games.
Right. Oh yeah, the starters should definitely play more than they do. But yeah, I get it. You're worried about them getting injured, and
but if you don't physically play, you're gonna get injured. Like watch that Packers Bears game from 2 years ago. It was the first game of the season. I think it was a Thursday night game, and both teams set all their starters, all the preseason, and they looked lost.
Well, yeah, you definitely there's rust to kind of get off, but that's why most people don't. Not like your starters will play, like you said, unless does Tom Brady need to play in the preseason? No. Hell no. Does Aaron Rodgers need to play in the preseason? No. I mean, will he play? Maybe, just because he missed a lot of camp.
Yeah, I think he will because that.
They want to get him, kind of in sync with the receivers again. So maybe he'll play a minute. But yeah, you do not need to start those guys. But the rest of especially your young players, like they should play at least one game, at least 3/4 of one game, like
just the third game.
Yeah, and that's normally what happens. Is the closer you get to the season, the more your starters play.
Except for the fourth
So,
one. I'm glad they got
well,
rid
there
of the
will
fourth
be
game.
no fourth one this year. So,
Right, but you know what I'm saying though. It's like Justin Herbert for the Chargers is not playing any of the preseason games, and I
see,
get it.
yeah, nah,
I get
he
the
should play some, if not a full game. Like
no, God no.
he needs to get reps.
He should play a series tonight or like a quarter tonight, or maybe a quarter and a half on the second game, and like two quarters, at least
Yeah.
the first half of the final preseason game, because it's like you've played 1 year and you're coming off injury, and you're not going to play at all in the preseason. You're going to have so much rust on you. Even like practice does not knock it all off. Like I said, I expect Josh Allen to play like a couple of series in like the third playoff game, preseason game rather. Sorry.
Yeah, he should.
Just, and speaking of Josh Allen, the reason I'm mentioning him is because, well, I'm going to mug him for about $5 million, and he will not notice. I don't know if you saw the specifics on the deal. It's a phenomenal deal for like all parties considered, despite what people say. It's like, oh, it's like only $2 million less than Mahomes. Yeah, he signed a 6-year extension, not a 6-year deal, worth $258 million. I mean, he's still on like his rookie deal this year, and he's got his 5th-year option next year, and then his contract kicks in for like 6 more years. So he's gonna be like 30 when his contract's up, which is still crazy to think he'll get another. If he plays well for 6 years, they'll probably tear it up after like year 4 and give him a brand new deal and lots of zeros and lots of years.
Yeah, or he'll go to Tampa Bay and replace Tom Brady,
or that,
who will retire probably by then.
Maybe.
He claims he doesn't want to play to 50. So.
Well, he also says he wants as many rings as Philip Rivers has kids.
Did he actually say that?
Yes.
And that's hilarious.
And Philip Rivers replied.
Philip Rivers probably like, got another one on the way, bitch.
He said, yeah, except for the difference is I got all my kids from like not cheating.
Oh. Philip Rivers just butthurt that he never won a ring.
Oh, well, he's never been to the
he's never even been to the game, so.
The craziest thing, like, the weirdest thing about him though is I'm gonna call them the San Diego Chargers because it's happened in San Diego, not LA. That they had like the weirdest anomaly in sports history, and I would die on this hill for it. They had the one year, I think it was like 2009. Okay.
Yeah.
They had the number 1 rated offense, the number 1 rated defense, and they missed the playoffs.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out.
well, no, it's because their special teams was awful.
But that's the thing. Like, how can your special teams be so bad? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how that element of the game they could have messed up so badly when the rest of their team was pretty good.
Well, because their kicker wouldn't make a clutch field goal to save his life.
Oh, well, yeah, but they could have fired him and got a new kicker.
Their punter got 2 punts blocked in a game versus Oakland. So it resulted in like 14 points for the Raiders, like off like back-to-back drives, punt block for touchdowns. So yeah, it's literally special teams are a third of the game.
They are. They're a very important third of the game.
Yeah, I'd say because they get the crowd into the game for the kickoff.
And then Adam Vinatieri won one of those rings for Tom Brady.
Well, at least one. I think it's only like 3, but still.
Well, he's credited with one in terms of the first meme. One. Yeah, the meme.
Yeah, despite yeah, he's the OG playing though he's 45 and like looking like a skinny Santa. Like he had the white beard and everything like 2 years ago. Like it was crazy to see. Like if you ever look up an Adam Vin page, it's so weird seeing like he's like the full head of gray hair and the gray beard.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that is hard to imagine.
But you're a kicker. Are you really under that much stress to be through that much gray? Like at the 45? Guess he grazed earlier than everyone else. But yeah, it's like so that I think we had the Steelers and the Eagles last night. We had the Patriots and the I think Washington played last night as well. Apparently, like I don't know how to read this. I read the description of how Mac Jones played. I don't think it was that good. Despite what people say, oh, he had a good rhythm. He was throwing the ball 5 yards. Like he threw one pass 5 yards all game. I told my boss, I'm like, that better be like a smoke screen for the year because if he's starting the quarterback, I'm gonna worry if he can't throw the ball downfield.
I mean, it's not to say that he can't throw it downfield. It's very possible that they're just not there yet as far as. But there have been quarterbacks that have gotten by on being, what they call game managers. Alex Smith spent a lot of his career doing that. Granted, could he throw the long ball when he needed to? Sure.
I mean
But
that's a
it's the
weird
first game
example.
of preseason. I feel like we can't read an end to anything at this
Well,
point.
I was gonna say, I mean that's a bad example because he was the first round pick. It's like you don't take a first round pick to be a game manager.
Well, that was the reputation he got.
Well, it's us because he broke his like in 83 spots and he came back as a miracle quarterback.
No,
And
I'm talking about he was considered a
oh, I
game
know.
manager well before that. He was always among his colleagues. He was always considered one of the most underrated players in the game.
Well, yeah, because he was so damn
Because nobody
smart.
respected him the way that I think they knew that Alex Smith really was an intelligent football
Well,
player.
yeah, he's just an intelligent man. Period. I
Yeah.
mean, I think, and he just signed with ESPN too. So did RG3. I heard. Like due to college football, like he had a clause in his contract, like if ESPN offers him a job, he can opt out of his Ravens contract,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think. It's like, well, Lamar, you better do something this year, buddy. Like with speaking about we're going to Josh Allen's contract, it was, like I said, it was $43 million a year, and it's like, what's Baker gonna get offered? What's Lamar gonna get offered? Is Lamar gonna get offered a contract?
Well, and that was kind of the thing where they talked about, and it was interesting because I was reading the article last year after Carson Wentz had gotten traded, and basically they were saying like, comparing similar 6-year deals, how are other teams going to, respond? Because in football, it's always the guy that's the highest paid player is only the guy who's the highest paid player until the next highest paid player, and the next highest paid player normally comes around a year later. Like contract values are continually, or a week or a month, or contract values are continually rising, so that the person who makes the most money now is not going to be the person that makes the most money, a week later, month later, next year, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, and they don't have like Scott Hall's contract where it's favored nation status, where it's like, okay, in the sense like if he gets like if Pat Mahomes is like making I think it's $45 million a year, say like Josh Allen signed like, say he matched he went a 10-year, he went to sign a 10-year $550 million extension for like just for argument, then Pat Mahomes' contract would bump up to that because
right, because he has to be the highest paid. Yeah, I mean if Patrick Mahomes keeps playing the way that he does, he will be the highest paid.
They'll tap his contract like in year 4 and be like, yeah, we're gonna give you a new deal.
Yeah.
And it's also I think the reason also we're seeing this big money for like Josh Allen for Patrick Mahomes is there's gonna be the salary cap's going to soar.
Oh yeah.
As long as there's fans in the next 2 years in stadiums, that salary cap is going to go sky high.
Yep. And that's what a lot of people are banking on. They're banking on, moving the money now because you will have that money to play with next year.
Right, and it's like I've heard like in 4 years the cap for whatever it is this year, it might be double of what it is right now.
Yeah, I think that's the goal.
Yeah. So it's winning a Super Bowl. We won't go there.
Easier said than done. Hard thing to do.
Yeah, only one team does it a year.
Yeah.
And there's only been 56 of them.
And if you don't have Tom Brady on that team, then your chances are harder.
They're more than
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean they're 1-8 right now if you have Brady.
Like man, Tampa made the best team in football look like scrubs.
Because
it was embarrassing.
It was Vita Vea. That's all it was. It really was a lot of him. Just like, hey, we're gonna because they did exactly what you're supposed to do to Tom Brady. They Tom Brady Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Rush right up the middle, get in his face.
Yep.
And it worked.
So,
I mean, Grant, like I said, when you got a 6'5", 350-pound nose tackle coming at you, I don't care who you are. Like, this is gonna suck.
But like it honestly would not surprise me. I know this happens so rare in football, but it would not surprise me if that's your Super Bowl again this year.
Well, I mean, because most teams haven't really changed.
No, there haven't been those major big signings yet that really shift the core of a lot of quarterbacks moved, but they didn't move in situations like Carson Wentz makes the Colts a better team if he's healthy, but does he make them a Super Bowl team? No. They were more than just a quarterback away. Moving what's his face, the guy who left the Rams,
Jared Goff.
Him moving does not suddenly make them a Super Bowl team.
Well, I was going to say it's like if you think about 3 of the top 4 teams last year, they were the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Buccaneers. They kept most of the kids. Like they didn't lose that many people walk. I mean, the only big name I can think of the 3 teams also was the Bills cutting John Brown, and that's it.
Yeah, there
which
weren't
is
like that many major.
like, well, yeah, they need all three teams didn't have major losses, and Green Bay got Aaron Rodgers to come back. I mean, money talks,
Yeah.
but still, it's like these four
Yeah,
teams,
and, like
and they and
you didn't
they
even really
didn't.
have that many retirements either that are super meaningful. Like, yeah, Drew Brees retired, but again, the Saints were not, he was not as good towards the end there. The Saints were
Well,
not
the
a
thing
Super
too,
Bowl contender.
and the crazy thing is like the Bills, the Chiefs, and I think Tampa Bay too is like they lost no coaches.
Yeah,
That's the scary thing. Is like you
yeah,
got
there were
continuity.
no, that tends to not happen. Normally, when you win, everybody wants your coaching staff, but I guess they didn't want to move.
Well, I think BME had off the field stuff, like the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. That was like they got like they
Oh,
have
is that
a
what it was? Is that why he wasn't
there's a
getting?
little yeah he was getting talking to, but he wasn't getting offers because like do we really want this guy to be like the figurehead of our team?
Gotcha.
And like I said, it's just crazy to think like these three teams who are very very good last year, including a Super Bowl champion. It's like these three teams didn't change much, and they've arguably gotten better. Like the Bills' biggest problem is obviously because I watch the Bills because I'm a Bills fan. I'm from Western New York, and the biggest problem is they couldn't get to Pat Mahomes. What they do? Hey, the first two picks, they took two mean pass rushers, and it's like they're like rotating in. It's like this guy they've got like five guys right now that could be starting defensive ends for two spots, which is kind of scary if you think about it. They may have to cut a potentially starting player or trade them, or like I said, just you keep all five and you just go to New York Giants on the Patriots and just unleash hell and just beat the crap out of every quarterback coming your way.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting to see.
Like I said, it'd be interesting.
How this year goes.
Like week one, Buffalo has Pittsburgh in Buffalo, which will be
Pittsburgh's not good anymore.
But my point, I was gonna say that, but I was gonna say the biggest problem with Pittsburgh now is like Ben looks like he's 907 years old on the field, and he's got four new offensive linemen. If I'm the Bills defensive coordinator Leslie Frazier, I say I unleash hell and just go blitz him every down, get in his face, like test this new offensive line. If it's not good enough, we're gonna kill Ben every play.
Well, I mean, you do that anyway because Ben Roethlisberger has never been a guy who's good at getting away from the blitz. He's very flat-footed.
And he also likes getting hit too.
Oh, I guess there's that.
I mean, he is like Mick Foley in the sense like he just gets hurt and he gets beat up.
That's true.
Like he's a target. He's not the man he was 3 years ago. Even, I mean, he looked like I said, he aged like 20 years in the last 2 years.
Right.
Like they were contemplating retirement. I mean, he should have retired.
Oh, he should have retired, 100%. I don't know why he didn't.
I think no one knows, even within the Steelers organization, like why didn't this guy retire? I mean, you didn't solve. I mean, you took that running back Najee Harris, yeah, but you're banking on everything being good for Dwayne Haskins. That's your fail-safe.
I still can't believe that he found the team.
Well, I think it's Pittsburgh because they can't help themselves.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I mean, they think, hey, he may have a shot this year to play, or but when I saw him play last year, like he was so bad.
Oh, he's not good. He's not good at all.
And then this is not me bashing Ohio State at the moment, but he's an Ohio State quarterback. Ohio State quarterbacks do not do well in the NFL. For some like law of the universe or something, that maybe Justin Fields is like the exception to the rule. But right now, there's been the only let's put it this way, there's only one Ohio State quarterback that's ever made a Pro Bowl, and he didn't do it as a quarterback. He made it as a punter.
Yeah.
That's how bad Ohio State quarterbacks are. As much as people want to criticize, USC California quarterbacks are bad. It's like, no, like Ohio State's like the standard of badness.
Yeah.
Like they're great in college, and then they just fall off for whatever reason. I mean, some of them are brains, and they do better at other things. Like Craig Krenzel, to name drop someone from like the 2000s, like he was like he has a degree in like in nuclear chemistry or something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because that's a common degree for a pro football player, a college football player.
Not at all.
Let alone a quarterback. I mean, granted, quarterbacks are supposed to be your smartest player on your team, but that's like Greg. You're just pushing the term a little bit. Like, even like Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. He got an economics degree. Come on now.
Yeah.
Stop setting the bar so high. So yeah, it's me. Like I said, football season's back. I'm kind of happy about that. The Bills play later tonight against Detroit, so it's like the Ralph Wilson Bowl, which they should have a trophy. Honestly, God, these two teams.
They should
That
have a trophy. It's preseason.
that's the point of. But they played they played every preseason except for one for like the last like 35 years.
Yeah, the Eagles are the same with the Jets.
Yeah, it's like shit like that. It's like they should do. They should
Not really
games.
sure why.
They should have like the like bleeding gold, but bleeding like green trophy or something like that, and have it be like like the slime from like Nickelodeon.
But see, the thing is, if you associate a trophy with it, it associates meaning to a game that is otherwise meaningless.
Then
And you're
give it
going
meaning.
to have
Or
you're
make
going
it
to
a
have guys play harder for the hardware, even though
Well-
it's a stupid piece of hardware, and risk potentially getting injured. Coaches
Then-
aren't going to want that. Organizations aren't going to want that. Like, I'm not suddenly going to play my starting quarterback just
Make
to
it a-
win
Well,
a trophy
since
that
we're
is not a Super Bowl.
well, then since we've bumped up to 17 games, make that the 17th game every year.
I feel like it's hard to have the same team play, like outside of conference. It's harder to schedule that.
But I think you could, if you wanted to. I mean, like I said,
Theoretically, I guess.
I mean, the plan. I know it's like they're going to 20 games. It's just a matter of when.
Oh, that's too many.
17's too many.
17 is exactly. So 20, what are you going to do? No preseason? You can't have a preseason if you're going to have 20 games. You can't.
Well, the problem I have with this preseason too is like, okay, why are you starting a week later? Like you're starting the same week, but it's like, okay, your week 18 is in the
Right.
middle of January. I mean, I know you, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty cold in Philadelphia too, in the middle of January. And it's the home field advantage. But again, though, why the hell wouldn't you play a game like the week before Labor Day? Like it starts the same week as college football.
Yeah.
Like you're starting a week later. You're starting a week later than like, your week one's normal, and you're adding a week on. It's like, what the hell are you doing? You're gonna make like I think my last regular season games like for those Jets is I think it's like January 10th.
Yeah, it is late.
So you're moving the Super Bowl back. I think the Super Bowl is the 13th of February, if I remember correctly. So like the Super Bowl morning hangover is Valentine's Day, really? Or no, I think it
Hangover
falls.
weekend.
Yeah, seriously. That's gonna be an interesting relationship weekend to say the least. It's in the city of love, Los Angeles. Anyway, so yeah, so we got football in front of us, which is good. Like, I'm thinking what else we got. Did we cover everything? Oh, we got.
We didn't talk about Hall of Fame.
We got to talk about the Hall of Fame. That was like last weekend too. Like the Hall of Fame game, which is cool because like it's cool in the sense that like even though it's a meaningless game, like we talk about, like it's a meaningless preseason game, but it's kind of cool. Like a lot of the old Hall of Famers show up. Like they have like interviews on the sideline, which is cool. Like all the people that went in like this year, which is a lot more than either of us could count. But it's like I say, it's just crazy to think like all these guys are in now, and it's like a virtual who's who of like the last 20 years of football plus some senior members. They're like much deservedly gone in. Like, I mean, like one of the guys I know is like Tom Flores, who you don't are not too familiar with. They did like a Bud Light commercial during the Super Bowl. Like I think it was like his nephew or something who was trying to get him in the Hall of Fame, and then they announced like Super Bowl weekend he got in as a senior member for I think it was a 2021 class.
Yeah.
I think it's so overdue. Like he's the first Hispanic head coach in the NFL, and he took the Raiders to 2 Super Bowls, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Besides being a good NFL quarterback, like he's going in as I think a coach. And like I said, it's just crazy. The who's who. It's like I don't think and they made them keep like the speeches like 10 like 5 to 7 minutes long because there's so many people going in. But it's like
That's why Peyton Manning's speech was the best.
well, absolutely.
Did you hear his speech?
Not yet, but it's something you like. I would have given him like the Ric Flair treatment. I'm sorry, I would have, because the stories Peyton Manning could share alone.
Oh yeah. He should have gotten his own like however much
Wing.
time you need. Well, that was the reason why they said they did it was because all those years ago, Ray Lewis spoke for over half an hour.
Oh my
And
god!
they didn't want that again. So everybody, their time, I guess it was like 10 minutes, but then it got cut down. That was like 6 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was funny because Peyton Manning was like, oh, it's like, by the time Tom Brady finally gets in 2035,
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
he's
thank
still
you.
gonna play for another 10 years. Yeah, he's like his speech will be 30 seconds.
Well, he's not wrong. I mean, it's sad but true. It's like But it's like some of these players, like I mean, they all should. Like, I would love to see like a half-hour speech because it's like so emotional. It's like especially when they've come from nothing or they've just got some like someone like Peyton Manning who's like so well known, like just like from defenses, like just like all the stories, like and all this the crap talk he does, like he's great at it.
Yeah.
Like and he does it so dryly, so he doesn't even come off as mean. Like all the stuff, like if you ever seen like host the ESPYs, like his monologues
yeah.
are hilarious.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
And it's like it's not forced humor, it's like unintentionally funny, the stuff he says. Like he's like I wouldn't say this, but since I'm going to anyway, like you said,
Yeah,
it'd be
he's got the way, like the way of his delivery, the way
yeah,
that he quips is just very
well
good.
he cheats. That's the reason why he can do it so good.
Well,
He's what I'm saying, like he's got his masters. Like he's got his masters in like in speech like communication.
oh yeah, that doesn't
That's
mean
what
cheats.
I'm
Means
saying
he's
cheats like in air
experienced.
quotes. Well, it's like that's how he was so good at calling plays in football. Like,
Right.
why the hell not? It's like it's a crazy degree to get. And it's like, why don't more quarterbacks get this thing in? Because it's like you could use it as whole total deception.
Yeah.
It's like you make build up a code with your receivers thing, like saying the third word of like the utter nonsense of like the 5,000 words I'm going to say actually is your route. And
Right.
that's how Peyton Manning was. Like, I mean, you listen to him, like, I mean, Omaha is what he's known for, but my God, he wouldn't stop talking, like, no matter what. Like, even when he got his jaw broken, he would still be like that, and he'd still do it. I could actually understand better when he had his jaw broken, by the way. It should be premised that it'd be like, I mean, okay, he's gonna probably pick on me because I don't care. I'm talking about him right now, but Josh, like our friend, like friend of the show, Josh, like if he comes on the show again, like I swear to God, I think if his jaw was broken too, I think I'd understand. Like his southern accent would be less pronounced.
Yeah.
McKinney, I couldn't think of his name for a second. I was like stalling, like, what the hell's his last name? But it's like, yeah, it's like his southern accent's so pronounced, like I just can't take it seriously. And he's a great friend of mine. It's like, I mean, sometimes I'm like, what the hell did you say? But yeah, it's like Peyton Manning's one of those, like, I mean, you can put the list, like it was, like I said, it was a good name of who's who, like the late 20th century and the 21st century, like all these guys. I mean, they absolutely deserve to be in. Like Peyton Manning. Do you hear like because they deliberate on who should be in and who should not be? It took them 13 seconds to say Peyton Manning should be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's no question.
What took them so long?
What took us so long?
Like, I mean, sorry, Peyton Manning's up for eligibility. Yeah, he's in. Done. Like, how can you not put him in? I mean, 2 Super Bowl rings, 5 MVPs, 5 bazillion yards passing. Well, it's like 72. It's like 67,000 or something like that. Like,
That's true.
He's like the standard of excellence for every quarterback that's ever played the game. And it's like guys like that, like Alan Faneca got in as well. I mean, I'm probably sure I'm jumping between the 2020 and 2021 class, but I don't care because it's all one class to me right now. And it's like guys like that. It's like this guy was like a stalwart, like left guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets, mainly the Steelers though. But he was known like nothing got by him. Like
Yeah.
it's like he was just so damn good at his spot that like yeah he's got to go in because he's that good. I mean yeah, interior offense line don't get stats unless they catch like a touchdown pass randomly, but other than that they really don't. I mean the way that you mentioned you never heard of him or like you've heard of him but you didn't hear anything he did. It's like that's what you want of an interior lineman.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to hear the offensive lineman that got called for like holding 73 times. But you want to hear about the guy that like, they don't mention him during the game at all, then he's doing his job right.
Right.
I mean, another no-brainer. Charles Woodson. Probably took him just as long. Like it probably took him 13 seconds. Yeah, he's in. Which is hilarious considering the fact that the year that Charles Woodson won, because he also won the Heisman. I don't know if you know that for college football. Peyton Manning was second. And they went in together. Which is crazy to think. Like these two guys, like surefire Hall of Famers and all that. It's all good. Yeah, so these guys were just great. Like Alan Faneca, I guess you pull these damn classes up for me. Yeah, like Drew Pearson, the OG, like number 88, was there for like when I say OG 88, I mean like the original Dallas Cowboys receiver. They wore number 88, which they could welcome back.
He does this. He pulls up and he's like, I want to come up. I want to come up. And then he comes up and he goes down immediately. It's like a game.
This is why I have this is why I've had 2 parrots, not dogs, Mary Lee. But yeah, absolutely, they're cute. But it's
he's trying to get out. The door locks behind him. One more second.
This is once again why I have birds. Everyone. Where was I? Like,
live TV, am I right?
yeah, we can't screw up if it's live. I told you that before. Like Tom Flores went in, like I said, I'm looking at the 2020 class right now. Drew Pearson, like I said, he's the OG number 88. His numbers actually are better than Michael Irvin's, and he played 20 years earlier. And he's finally getting in. Like I said, he's probably the guy like they thought the Hall of Fame community was like, oh shit, we put this guy in, right? Oh, we didn't. Okay, we can put him in.
Yeah.
Like him and Tom Flores were the senior members and all that. And like I said, John Lynch, I mean, goes without saying. I mean, the guy he hit everyone, and just he was probably one of the greatest safeties of all time, without question, between the Buccaneers and the Broncos. I think he played for the second team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kelvin Johnson. I mean, he's the standard now for tall possession receivers in the NFL.
Right.
He was DK Metcalf before DK Metcalf was a thing. I mean, guy's 6'5", he's 240, and he can runs like a gazelle.
His career with the Lions. Imagine if him and Matthew Stafford at the same time played on
any other
team, just about, minus the Jets.
Yeah.
And probably minus Washington, because they were bad for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, like really good players who just needed a little bit more around them.
They need
and
defense.
They never got it. They need defense.
Yes. And you're right. They literally never got it. Like, even if they were on the Bills, I think they would have been a playoff team, because
you could have built around those two. It shocks me that the Lions never did. They wasted the best years of both of their careers.
Yeah, the Lions are known for that. I mean, look at Barry Sanders. I mean, God, can you imagine if he was on like Tim too? It's like, imagine like swap Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith for a second. Give Barry Sanders that offensive line that Emmitt Smith had. My goodness, he probably has 40,000 yards rushing, because he's never going down. Like, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's just like I have a friend that actually played defense against Kelvin Johnson in high school, like in Georgia, and he said it's like he's like, he was that big in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, he said hands down like the scariest experience ever, because he was just so big, so quick, so strong. Like he's everything you'd want in a receiver. Like, and just think the Oakland Raiders should have had him at 1 at the time. The Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
And then they took Jamarcus Russell instead. It's like, this guy is like, I mean, he left on top in his prime, and he was 30. Was he 30 or 31 when he retired from the Lions? But I mean, God, it's like, think about it. It's like, you put him on the Raiders, you get, and they laughed at, because they were probably criticized if they took him, because they feared, hey, this guy's okay, he's big, he's fast, he's strong. That's what you take every year. You just look at measurables, Al Davis. What the hell? Actually, take a player that's good, but this guy was good. I remember him at Georgia Tech, and he just caught everything, and he made it look easy.
Yeah.
Like, he had freaking Velcro for hands. And like I said, Faneca played forever. Charles Woodson, I mean, this guy was the best cornerback in his generation, defensive back in his generation, by far. And the saddest thing, like I said, in college football, he won the Heisman because he also played offense and special teams. He didn't come off the field.
Right.
Like, this guy was a damn good receiver, too. And it's probably what got him the Heisman in college. I mean, then we got like like I said, the 2020 class is like, I mean, we're not going to count all the Centennial members, because that's just way too much to count. Let me see if like you said, you didn't recognize anyone. Let me see if I recognize like one.
Yeah, a few here and there.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Taylor, Grant, he should be in, because he's like, I mean, Grant, I have like mixed feelings about him, just because he's the one like ignored everything that happened, and he's the reason why Roger Goodell gets blasted for all the stuff he does, like for like policies and stuff like that. It's like, it's because Tagovailoa didn't do a thing.
Right.
Like, he just turned a blind eye to everything. It's like, oh wait, what? It's like, this guy just beat his girlfriend. Well,
Yeah.
Is he playing Sunday? Yeah. Oh, okay. That was like there's just a really
Yeah, it was a lot different back then.
yeah on the Wayback Machine of like 1998.
Yeah.
Sorry to be cynical, but it's like, yeah. I mean, you got like you got you say you got the like I say it's cool. You got the two coaches and Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher, like this Lieutenant Slate Grant. Yeah, they should. I mean, Cowher, I'm surprised didn't go in just on his own merits. I don't know if this. I don't know if it's just because it's the Centennial year or whatever. But it's like, yeah, he was just that good. It's like, yeah, he won a Super Bowl. It's like Jimmy Johnson won two, and he had full control of the Cowboys. Like he got away from Jerry Jones before Jerry Jones was like, yeah, this
Mm.
was my team, and they were college teammates. But I mean, his career is probably actually. I don't know if he's better as a coach, college coach, or pro coach, Jimmy Johnson, because he had some bad years in the pros, like especially with Miami, especially with the end of the years for like Dan Marino. But like his Miami
Yeah.
years were like Miami Hurricane years.
Yeah, I mean, what he did in Dallas is obviously what most
yeah.
people know him for.
For the professional game, yes, but for college,
Mhm.
like he's definitely known.
Oh yeah, for college it's the U. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to. It's required by law.
It's required by law. Surprised you're not wearing the shirt.
That's I have my jerseys in my closet, and a couple of my shirts are elsewhere. I think they're also in the closet. I mean, but yeah, it's just like guys like that, and like just like I said, it's just baffling. Like, excuse me, I'm just pulling up the 2020 class right now. Like people like Edgerrin James, people were criticizing like, why is Edgerrin James going to the Hall of Fame? It's like he didn't do anything much. It's like he had like almost 13 yards, 1,000 yards rushing. He's like 12th all time. He's like
Yeah.
there's only two people in front of him that are not in the Hall of Fame yet, and that's because it's Frank Gore and what's his name? The running
Adrian Peterson?
Thank you. Yeah. Because yeah, they're both
Yeah, because they're not
players.
eligible.
That's the only reason why they're not in. Yeah, it's like they're gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna be first ballot, but they're gonna be pretty damn close. I mean, like yeah, like Isaac Bruce went in this class. Like Isaac Bruce is like 1/3 of the gray show and turf, and like his teammate Torrey Holt didn't get in, but Torrey Holt will get in because receivers just take longer for like some law of the universe or something like that.
Right.
Unless you're like Randy Moss, which in TO, like I mean TO took the second term, but still. It's usually like 3 or 4 for a receiver because I think it's because they're so damn log jammed. Like it took Andre Reed 13 years to get in, and he retired with the second. And he retired with the second. He went to 4 Super Bowls, and granted, he didn't win any, but that shouldn't matter for.
Yeah, that's a pretty accomplishment-ridden career if you go to 4 Super Bowls.
And let alone in a row, and the fact that you were second in receiving and second in receiving yards when you retired, and it took you 13 tries to get in.
I don't know, man.
But I don't make the rules.
You don't make the rules.
I just like I said, it's a quote.
You just talk about them, right?
And I break them too.
You break the rules. Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You're like the prop. You're my yin to my yang. You're like the prim proper. I just
the yin to your yang. That's funny.
Well, because you're like the good proper person between you and I. And then there's me.
I break rules sometimes.
You bend them. Just be real.
I bend, not break.
They're like this slightly bent. Mine are like I send a blowtorch to them, which is way more fun, just for the record. But yeah, like Palomalo, same with Atwater, Palomalo. Like these guys are like generational guys who are like these are the best of the best at your position. Like Atwater is probably the reason why they see Atwater and Ryan a lot, or the two safeties are probably why there's so many damn safety rules in the NFL now because you're gonna throw your receiver over the middle, go right ahead.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill you. Like we will hit
just
you
about.
So you're gonna leave yourself open. We will hit you so hard you'll feel it next week, and probably a lot longer. Like Hutchinson, like he's one of the infamous ones that like it's baffling, like how he like went from I think Seattle, he went from Seattle to Minnesota because like he was an RFA and like Seattle like lowly tendered him. Who's gonna touch a guard like it's like 97 or something like that? Like no one's paying attention to this shit. Like, and then like Minnesota throws this monster offer at him. It's like, oh, we can't. And Seattle's like, we can't match that.
Right.
And the rest is history. It's like this guy's another guy. It's like Alan Faneca, where it's like these guys really standard of interior offensive linemen. Like they should be in the Hall of Fame. These guys are so good that you don't hear about them during a broadcast.
Mm.
They don't hold. They don't do stupid stuff. Like I mean, they're literally there to protect their quarterback, and that's it.
Right.
I think I just heard your dog.
No, I dropped a pen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's
Second
like
time I've dropped that now.
yeah, like Atwater. I mean, as a safety, he's 6'3", 218. Yeah, he it was like his 16th year of eligibility too.
Was it really?
Yeah. I mean, Isaac Bruce. I mean, guy had God. How many yards did he have?
Yeah, some of these guys have been around forever.
Yeah, he had 1,024 yards receiving, 208 yards receiving, second most all time. It took him, and he was not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Wow.
Well, I think it's also because some of these players, like a T.O., like a Randy Moss,
Well, and that's kind of the thing. Like with the NFL, it is a Hall of Fame. It's a lot harder to get into the NFL Hall of Fame than some of the others. Like everybody criticizes Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame, and they're like, really? Like it's kind of become a little bit of a Hall of Average, and it's.
well,
I know, kind of unfortunate, but there are periods of time. I mean, they had a class a couple of years ago that there was no class.
right.
Literally nobody got in. You don't see that happen in the NFL Hall of Fame because there's always somebody worth.
I think that's also because they're so backlogged too.
That's probably a big part of it. Yeah.
Well, but the baseball note I would just say is the fact that like it's not even the Hall of Average. I don't really see that. It's more so the fact like they've just got so many things going on, like the steroid or like they would like do they put one in, do they not put one in?
Right.
And just like there hasn't been like a generationally good player, like revolutionary player, like a Barry Bonds. Like I'm just using Barry Bonds loosely, but like, or like we'll say Ken Griffey.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a guy coming up. Hey, he's gonna retire soon. Who's got 600 home runs, or has 300 wins. I mean, I guess it's why you say Hall of Average because like I mean, is Roger Clemens the last like 300 win pitcher, or is it like Randy Johnson or something like that? You don't see like
yeah, it has been a long time.
Right, you're not going to see a you may not see a 300 win pitcher again. You might see a 210 win pitcher, but you won't see a 300 win because you got to play like think about it, that's 15 wins a year for 20. The way you look at it, okay, we'll say it's 20 wins a year for 15 years because that's common.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Troy Polamalu was a first ballot Hall of Famer, but granted, he kind of like, I mean, depending on who you're a fan of. If you're a fan of the Steelers, he's your favorite player of all time. If you're a fan of the Bengals, he's like, why the hell is he even considered for the Hall of Fame?
Right.
Because he's he's one player's greatest player ever, and the other player's the most dirty player of all time. And there's no between with him. Because Grant, he played dirty, and he would fully say he did. But was it within the rules? Sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes, not always.
Yeah, something about drilling the return guy when he's calling for fair catch. Just slightly frowned upon. Like I guarantee he would struggle in this game now because it's like even it's been not that long. It's just because all the safety rules, like you'd be thrown out of games for half the shit he pulls.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like like these guys are all Hall of Famers. Like I said, I sent you the list of players that are first ballot Hall of Famer considered first. They're not considered first ballot. These are the guys that are like on the biggest names are on the ballot for the first time. That's what I sent you.
And there's definitely a lot of. I mean, you're talking about if not the top of the last maybe 10 years. You've definitely got a lot of guys in there who made a huge impact.
But are they Hall of Fame worthy? If one going to list,
I would have to look more into the numbers to be able to kind of say yes or no definitively. I mean, off the top of my list, I would say Tony Romo, no.
I don't think Tony Romo ever gets in.
Anquan Bolden, maybe.
Not right away.
Not right away. Definitely not right away.
I think he's like. I'd say
close.
I would say like between 5 and 10 years away.
Let's see who else is on there.
Yeah, I mean, I sent you the whole list. We can go over player by position. That'd be the way to do it.
Chad Greenway.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's a no. Mario Williams, possibility.
Maybe.
Definitely a possibility. Robert Mathis, kind of the same. Definitely a possibility.
Which is crazy. Yeah, and just think Robert Mathis is the reason why the Bills got Jerry Hughes.
Yeah.
Because Jerry Hughes couldn't beat Robert Mathis or Dwight Freeney out.
DeMarcus Ware is a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Potentially first ballot.
If he's not, he's definitely. I'd say I'm named might wait second for him.
Like, if not first, he's definitely second.
Yeah.
And then I would say Vince Wilfork could probably go in first ballot as well.
Yeah, one because I mean I want to see his boss because he's like this generation's. I mean, this is named. I don't know if you know him. He's this generation's Ted Washington.
No, I don't know that name.
Ted Washington is the greatest defensive tackle of all time, and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, because he's just a monster. Like the Bills, the Broncos, all like every team he played for lied about his weight, like horribly lied about his weight.
Yeah.
That was probably for insurance reasons. I get it, but still, it's like, holy crap, he's not 325 pounds. Ted Washington, I can tell you straight, I've met the guy. Have you ever been in a Jeep Grand Cherokee?
Have I ever been in one? I
Yes.
don't think so.
He couldn't fit in it.
Oh my gosh! Wow, because that's
like
I know it's a big
SUV.
Yeah, big car.
His chest was probably like about 4 inches from the steering wheel. Because my dad was like a manager of a car dealership at the time, and he had like Doug Flutie, him, and Sam Rogers come to they did like a meet and greet right before the Bills season started. This was the last year, when they were like before the playoff drought started.
Okay.
And they had like a meet and greet at my dad's dealership. It was really cool. I got to shoot the shit with him for like good hour afterwards. And they gave him all 3 cars to use for the year to promote it. It didn't really help. But anyway, like they gave Ted a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a 1999 Grand Cherokee. He couldn't fit in. He could fit in it, but he was so close to it. I was like, this isn't safe.
That's really funny.
They literally had to give him like a 300M, because that's the only thing that fit his body. Because they list him, I think it's like, what's they actually list him at? Let me see. Ted Washington, they list him at 6'5", 365. Okay.
Wow.
He's not that big. Even Jim McNally, this infamous offensive line coach who coached for the Bills, the Bengals, when he was part of the Giants, he flat out said he's at least 4'10". Like he was so massive, he's the prototypical nose tackle in football. What's the only job of a nose tackle to do? Especially one that massive.
I don't know.
Take up space and eat up the entire lineman.
So basically just be there.
Yes. And he would block the center in both guards by himself.
Okay.
He would okay, so the defensive ends can get at it, or the pass rush, the outside linebackers in a 3-4 can get to him. Or there was always the fun of having him next to Pat Williams.
Yeah.
Who is also 6'3" and 330. And you got a guy that's 6'5", 365. Yeah, you want to run up the middle? Go right ahead. I dare you.
Yeah, don't do it. It's a trap.
Yeah, it's a huge trap. And and the Buffalo Bills ranked him as the biggest free agent signing they ever had, fit literally and figuratively.
That's pretty funny.
They did it. I think they did it as kind of a joke, but still, I think literally he was such a good defensive. He was such a nose tackle, and guys that big don't play for 15 years in the NFL.
No, they don't.
He did. Actually, how long did he play? Let's see. He started his career. He literally played 16 years in the NFL. He was the first round pick of the San Francisco 49ers in 1991, and he retired in 2007 with Cleveland.
That's a long career.
It's a hugely long career. It's and like I said, he was his job literally was to take up space, and he did a really, really good job with it. And I'm surprised he's not being considered. He's one of those players that they should put in the Hall of Fame, because it's he set the standard of the position. Granted, okay, he's not in Ndamukong Suh. He's not what's his name out of LA, interior lineman, Aaron Donald. He's not that kind. He's not that kind of defensive tackle. His job is literally to destroy the entire line, and that's it. If he gets a sack, well, don't be that quarterback, because that's going to hurt like hell.
Right.
But still, it's like his job is like, okay, you're not running up the gut. You're flushing the quarterback out every play because like you have no interior protection anymore. If that's literally his job, he did a damn good job of it for 16 seasons. And like I said, I feel bad for all the jersey makers and all like and caterers and all that who had to feed the guy. Like he's a super nice guy. I would love to have him on the show. I'm actually Facebook friends with him.
Nice.
And he, dude, his food's just like he just barbecues all the time, and I'm like, you're so cruel. Looks so good. And just like I would love to have him on just talk about it because it's like his career because it's so long and it's like holy crap, like why aren't you in canon? Oh,
Yeah.
because he doesn't have 100 sacks in a season because or a career because that's what defenders need now. I mean, put him in like him. Like you talked to Vince, because but the reason why we brought him up is because Vince Wilfork was the same guy. He was like, I mean, talk about anyone that played against the Patriots when he was there.
Hmm.
Did you run up the gun much against him? Probably not against Vince.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I mean, these guys were both like 370 pounds plus, and they're like a bear, and they're just light on their feet. They're just freakishly athletic, and like, oh, they're just big fat guys. Play their position for a day. I don't want to do it, and I played football.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's like that's another. Who else is on that list of first year nominees?
Who else was on that list?
Yeah, like I think Torrey Holt.
Golden.
Like
No,
yeah,
Torrey Holt was on this
but-
year's and
yeah.
didn't get in.
I think he'll either get in this year or next
Jared
year.
Allen was on this year's and didn't get in.
I don't know if I put Jared Allen in.
See, that one's so tough.
because like he had good numbers, but it's like did he have a career for it? Like same with
Rondé Barber was on this year's and didn't get in.
I don't like. I think like you said the only person.
Oh, Reggie Wayne will get in.
Yeah, I don't think first ballot though.
No, well, he was first ballot. If not last year, he would have been first ballot the year before. But yeah, he'll get in one day.
Oh yeah. I mean, just because he had some Manning guy throwing the ball a few times.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Manning mentioned him once or twice, which goes a long way in getting people in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's players like I'll be a homer and say there's at least 3 players on the Bills that should be in the Hall of Fame that aren't for one reason or another. I mean, and I've been talking to a former Bills player about it too. It's like Steve Tasker, is the standard for special teams, like on defense. Like if you would just Google Steve Tasker highlights, you'll be like,
yeah.
I mean, they changed rules because of the guy. Like he used to do they called it, I forgot what they called it. It was like the Tasker takeoff. So he used to cheat so horribly. Like he would run out of bounds purposely. That's why they have the rule you can't run out of bounds and come back. You have to come back right back in. Because he would run out of bounds, so he couldn't be blocked. Pop back up and show up inbounds and tackle the guy. Horribly cheating, but it's like it was legal then, and it's like, but like he would do if you needed a big block punt, he could do it. He was a decent receiver too. And I like the best story is like when he first came to Buffalo, is like he shares with it is like Marv Levy said, this guy is going to we just signed a guy. He's going to change everything on our team.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't see that a lot.
Well, the joke was, though, he was standing next to Bruce Smith.
Nice.
And Bruce Smith was, at his heyday, he was 6'4", and he's like 300 pounds.
Yeah, not a small dude.
No, but Steve Tasker, 5'8", 160. It's like it'd be like
he was half of Bruce Smith.
Yeah, it's literally you and I stood next to me and said one of these two is this person's going to change everything, and they said this person, they don't mention gender yet.
Yeah.
And it's like you and I, and they point to you. It's like,
yep,
wait,
the little tiny person.
Yeah, the little person next to the giant. Yeah. Oh, thanks. No pressure at all.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, it's like I said, him would be one. Darryl Taylor, every Bills defender will say he was the glue that like the Super Bowl years for the defense.
Oh wow!
And he should be in the Hall of Fame. And the other person is Ken Hall, the starting center for the Super Bowl years, and like he played 11 years. If Demetri Dawson's in, why isn't Ken Hall? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, okay, he was less of a Hall of Fame. Yes, he only made the Pro Bowl like 5 times, and he was only a 3-time All Pro. It's like, I mean, that's still amazing. And while Demetri Dawson was like a 10-time All Pro and all that, but this guy was good. And like, I don't know if they do it because like, I don't know if they disqualify him because he's not around anymore or what, but he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, normally if people aren't around anymore, like they can get in posthumously.
But it's always hard to. It's always sad to like have that.
It's like a commissioner's selection or however
Yeah.
it works. Yeah.
It's like the other thing too is like it's almost like the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. It's like the reason I bring it up is because remember they were like nervous about bringing Junior Seau's family to like the Hall of Fame after he killed himself.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, granted, that's different between like dying of natural causes or like unnatural causes, but or offing yourself. But still,
Right.
it's still a somber moment. I mean, it's like I think you should have one person posthumous a year going because it's like because you can have a family or tell a great story. Like this is the man my dad was.
Right.
It's like watching it's like watching the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Well, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll do everything. It's like and it's like the year like Rick Rude went and had his son do it, and his son was so spot on and gigantic.
Well, that's the thing. When a family member does it, you hear the side that you never knew.
And it's what you should do.
Especially back then. Nowadays we know a lot more about wrestlers and athletes and their off the field sort of exploits, whether good or bad. We know about their families, but like back then you didn't know that much stuff. It wasn't as in the public eye as it is now.
Even if you were the starting quarterback, people didn't know, or they just didn't choose. It's
had a little bit more privacy without there being social media and constant sort of posting of your life, putting it out there.
I mean, a good way to tie it all together for today is the fact that like Randall Cunningham's daughter was in the Olympics.
Yep.
As a high jumper, if I remember correctly.
So was Bruce Springsteen's as an equestrian.
I did not know that.
Yep.
But the difference is
I believe she was on the U.S. team that won the silver medal.
Well, rocking the USA. See, if they want the gold medal, they should play like Born in the USA
instead of the national anthem. Kind of funny.
That'd be just be the biggest like troll job ever. Oh, wait, Born, and like, wait, what? This isn't the national anthem. But yeah, it's like shit like that. It's like I don't know. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool. Yeah, maybe we could do the show in a week. Maybe not. I mean, it's cool doing an early afternoon one. It was nice not being up to like Lord knows how late, especially on a weeknight.
Yeah, I don't believe I have any more half-day Fridays left.
That's fine. We can still like
maybe one more. I might have one next week. I'm not sure yet.
Well, let me know. We can work it out.
Yep.
If not, we can always do. Like we talked about, we're trying to do earlier shows, like 6 to 9 p.m. I think you talked about, or 6:39.
Yeah, that's a good window. Gives me a chance to go home, grab dinner, and then.
Yeah,
it's a little cooler too, which is nice because this room doesn't have air conditioning. So I'll believe it. When it's hot, it's really hot. Like it was starting to get hot today as we got later into the day.
I mean, it's been hot here all day. It's been like it was like 87 when I got out of work. I'm like work's been just shitty because the temperature, like and everything else that's gone on. And like I said, I'm just excited for tomorrow night. I'm gonna be in the Bills game 4 or 5 weeks in a row. What the hell is wrong with me? And only 3 of the events are Bills related. Like the last 2 weeks I've been in Bills camp. Really cool. It's practice. Who cares? They had 20,000 people each time, which is great.
Yeah, they do like an open practice.
Yeah, the
Eagles did that too.
Well, they used to have it here, like in Rochester, like at St. John, like a smaller college, and you just have like weekly, daily things like every other place does. Well, they're having 3 events, but the last 2 Saturdays I was there. Tomorrow I'm going back to the stadium again because I'm seeing Billy Joel.
Oh, nice.
And then I get a week off, then I get the Bills' 3rd preseason game. So like I said, for like 4 or 5 weeks I'm in that damn stadium. At first I thought it was gonna be 4 straight weeks. I'm like, oh my god, kill me.
I've gone to Phillies games like 4 straight days, so.
Well, you're like you also like right there. It helps. Like I went to a AAA game last Friday night, which is a blast. I mean, like we had Joe Altobelli night, which was
minor league baseball is heads and tails above. Like if you're not there for the product, because honestly, you don't go to minor league baseball for the product, you go for the experience and the atmosphere.
Well,
it's so much fun.
It's minor league baseball and minor league hockey, though. I'd say both of them.
Well, yeah, any sort of minor league atmosphere. But like, yeah, I was just there at Phillies AAA, which is actually the first time I'd ever been to that stadium last last Tuesday, I think, for Bark at the Park night.
Nice.
So took my dog to the stadium, and they have like lawn seating, so they stick you on the lawn. So you bring your picnic blankets, and the pooch is able to kind of
Do her thing.
relax. A little bit easier than when you do Bark at the Park at the Philly stadium, where like they sit on the concrete, and yeah, he didn't like that as much. He did like the grass though.
I can imagine so. Like, just damn it, but it's like, yeah. So like we did it was Joe Altobelli night, was really cool. Like they paid tribute to like their long time. Like this guy did everything for the Red Wings, including he has a World Series ring from Baltimore. He was the manager of the team.
Oh wow.
Like it's like they had like a clip from Cal Ripken Jr. Like it was really cool. Like he passed away a few months ago.
Yeah.
Like, and they mentioned his life. It's like, oh my god, I didn't realize. Like I thought he was older. He was 80. He was 86. He was like 10 years older than my dad. And like he met Babe Ruth when he was like 3 years old in Detroit.
Wow.
And he's still like, it's crazy to think this guy has like a World Series ring. He's got like 2 AAA rings. And the guy was like the GM of the Rochester Red Wings for like 20 years. Like he was like the voice of the team. Like he was like they call him Mr. Baseball of Rochester because this guy was like everything. Yeah. And he just casually lived like 5 blocks from me and just would just shop like routine. Like this guy's like a beloved like manager from like 2 different levels of baseball. He's just there, just shopping, just casually, just minding his own business.
He's just a normal dude.
Yeah, he really was, and he would be very approachable. He always would sign autographs for kids. And like they said, like his entire family there to send him off. It was really cool. It was like a nice, like it was basically like a calling hour setup. It was sad. It was great. It made you laugh. You could tell some of the players had to cut back stories because there's kids there. And like, oh, it was a great night. I was like, and of course, the only time I liked the runner on second. That's actually warming up on me now for the logic of it.
No. Well, ruining baseball.
Well, in AAA it sucks because kids all the kids go for the home run in extra innings. Like it was kind of cool. Like they changed the way they played because I had a nothing game through 9 innings.
Yeah.
And then because they were going for like a lot more going for big shots, then all of a sudden they went for small ball galore.
Right. Runner on second, advance the runner, get the runner to third with 1 out, sack fly, whatever you want to do. Like it's you should 9 times out of 10 you should get that runner home if they're on second base and no outs. And the fact that it doesn't happen that often, it shows you just how bad some offenses are with runners in scoring position. But yeah, like games don't go that long anymore because they shouldn't go that long. You should not go into 16 innings with no team able to, like, if one team scores 2 runs and then the other team's, like, it's different if there's continual scoring. But if you're still putting up donuts going into like the 16th inning, no, you're terrible.
Yeah, like you said, I've been to a 16 inning game. Actually, 2 of them. I actually was working one of them, and was actually at one, like we've talked about at length. And
yeah, I've been to some long ones over the years.
But it was nice. Like it was like nothing through. There was 3 hits in the first 9 innings.
Wow.
Between the 2 teams.
That must have been exhilarating.
The thing was, I actually liked it because I'm a sucker for pitcher's duels. It was like seriously, it was like strikeout after strikeout after strikeout. But it was more strikeouts than hitting into the shift and all that.
You're more exciting to watch the pitching than you were to watch the hitting.
Well,
there was none.
Yeah, like no one got past second until the extra innings.
Wow.
Like it would be like there's no outs. So we're on second, 3rd inning, strikeout, pop fly. But yeah, it was just crazy. What the hell was it? But like I said, it moved right along. We were the 10th inning by the game started at 7:20 because the whole ceremony and all that. By 9:00, we were on the top of the 10th.
Wow.
They just blitzed right along. It was great.
Yeah, that's what happens when there's no hitting.
Yeah, but sometimes it drags still even then. But yeah, it was like it's all a good game. They lost, but it was fun. I enjoyed myself. I dragged my mom. I was proud of myself for that.
Nice.
Yeah, she was always down for stuff like that. Like, hey, you want to go to a baseball game? And as soon as they went to extra innings, she's like, I hate you so much. I'm like, Mom, the good news, there's new rules. This will go faster. I promise. There will not be a 16 inning special. I promise you that. I don't know if there is. There will not be like freakishly runs scored randomly.
Yeah.
But I think we had a good show, and I don't think I've got anything else.
Yeah, no, I think we're pretty good. Covered a lot, and there's a lot coming up. So we'll have
Yeah. Well,
a lot
week
more
one
to
of
talk about in the future.
we'll have week one of the preseason. Talk about next week.
Yeah, and the start of the U.S. Open pretty soon.
Yep. And SummerSlam
And
and
the
like a
Little
lot
League
of it.
World Series.
Yes. Because everyone talks about it. That's the coolest thing about the summer to me. It's also the saddest thing is it's like, okay, summer's over. Little League World
Yeah,
Series is
it
happening.
really is. I've wanted to go for so long, and I might go this year because the team
And,
from Pennsylvania just
and you can't
advanced.
and you can't be that far from it either.
It's probably about 3 hours,
That's not.
maybe. I mean, it would definitely still need to be an overnight. I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
you'd be able to do it as
I could.
anything else.
But then I'm superhuman. Like I almost wanted to drive home the time I met you. I was
That
like,
would have been crazy.
oh come on, let's leave it like
It's like a
what
5-hour drive.
yeah, and I left at what like 6 that morning.
Jeez.
The straight it's up 76 to 81 to 90, and I'm home.
Hey, that was the last time that I had a cheesesteak from Delisandro's was when I took you there.
Wow, God, you're old.
I actually have not had that many cheesesteaks over the
Yeah,
past couple of years. It's weird.
I've been trying to cut back on like unhealthy food in the last week, which was probably a mistake. Especially I really started Monday when it was like 95 degrees. I'm like I'm like full gluten free and dairy free. I'm like, and the only sugar in my system was literally from tomatoes and some Gatorade I had. And I'm like, fucking kill me.
You picked a bad time to
Yeah,
total cleanse.
Yeah, pretty much. But I feel better about it now. I'm gonna try to keep with it, see what happens.
That's good.
But yeah, like I've been faster at work the last 2 days. My boss has been off my ass, so that's a plus.
Yeah, there you go.
But like I said, it's just like God. Yeah, 95 degrees. I have like pasta. I have gluten-free pasta salad with tomatoes and onions in my system. That's all I got. I'm like, this sucks. But anyway, good show. We'll talk throughout the week.
Yep. Peace out.
See you later. Enjoy everyone.